Hello, everybody. We're so back with the NBA Season 7. I'm back here. I'm Nahyma. If you are new, I know we have a lot of new faces in the NBA this season. And I'm back once again with our patented content manager, Toady.
Woo! Or patent
Woo.
to retired from drafting until a new generation comes out. Content manager
Yeah.
Toady.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are kind of feeling that though. Like the Gen 9 kind of mid to high tier Terra, uh, just getting tired of the same old, same old. I'm really excited to see if and when Champions shakes things up. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll get
At the
a lot of
very
our
least, the
old players
megas.
back.
Like, I think we'll get some abilities and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think once we know the abilities, like they're all existing mons. They just get retroactively added to NatDex. I feel
Yeah,
like that's a pretty simple addition.
have you seen any ZA mega like fan leagues going around? Like
No,
draft
I
leagues?
I don't want to get too invested in like the abilities that they came up with, because I saw there was like a ladder on Smogon too for it that was
Yeah, it's all fan done.
yeah, and like some of them are obvious, like huge power Mega Starmie is like guaranteed to be a thing,
Yeah,
but
that follows a certain pattern, yeah.
yeah. But like everything else, it's like it's just a guess, and I feel like I don't want to get like too attached to the idea of one or get too like used to seeing one and being and then like having to like relearn that it like doesn't have that, especially if it goes from having an impactful ability to having a not very impactful ability, and then you're like playing around it, like thinking that something's gonna happen, it just never does, and you just like make stupid mistakes. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
the calcs
Do you
that I
know
saw actually aren't true because it doesn't have tough claws or something like that,
yeah. Do you know that Subway Takes guy?
Where's that on?
You know what I'm talking about? Like he's just a content creator. He does like
Must have heard the
interviews with
name.
people on New York subways,
Oh
and he
yeah,
asks
yeah,
them like,
yeah.
"What's your
Yes, I
take?"
have seen that.
And yeah, if I were him, I would say 100% agree to your take about ZA megas. I find it
Wow,
really hard to
it's a really
um
roundabout way of saying
yeah,
that.
listen, okay.
I thought
I
you were
find
gonna
it
say
really
like
hard to
somebody asked
commit.
that question and then somebody answers like
Imagine.
what ability do you think Mega Clefable's gonna be?
Yeah. But yeah, to me it feels very like I mean, I don't use the term like Mickey Mouse to refer to draft leagues
Yeah,
very often unless it kind of deserves it. And I think using like the ZA megas with the fan abilities and just giving everything random stuff that like, oh, it would be awesome if it got this, you know. That's
like a
not how Game
household.
Freak operates. It doesn't operate on it would be awesome if it got this. It operates on whatever they feel like at the time. So I'm definitely holding my breath.
Yeah, I was like actually it was kind of the reason I was also like I never got into playing like ROM hacks or uh
Mm,
like fake uh like new like I guess there's still ROM hacks, but like stuff like even stuff that would be like a redo of like a previous one. But when Rogue was big and I was like trying that out, that was like the first time that I really like got invested in the idea of like having fan balanced Pokemon. And I
yeah,
think it was
true.
because of like the power fantasy of a roguelike where it's like
Mm,
you already know that this isn't something that you're going to take into the real game, because it happens in any other game that adds a roguelike mode. It's like you can like set aside that mentality to be like, hey, I'm going to be really broken here, but I know that this isn't a thing in the actual game, and I'm not going to like get confused when I see it in the actual game.
yeah,
um
yeah.
and then I played like Radical Red, which is like a similar thing where it's like, again, it's a single player game. I know what I'm getting into. I know that this is going to be exactly the same, but I'm not going to like translate it over. But I also wouldn't play, because I think Showdown has a like a Radical Red format or something, or like they've had it in the past, something like that. Where it's like I still wouldn't want to do it in PvP because like I don't want to get used to fighting against like real players and making decisions like that. It's like it's different when you're making
Yeah.
decisions against a computer and you know that you have like borrowed power. Um, but that I think that's the big difference with those kinds of things versus a PvP format on Showdown that's like specifically supposed to be like, let's get an idea for what the meta is going to be like, when it's just not. It's not what the meta is going to be like. It's going to be so different based on the abilities that they get. There's going to be abilities that we've never seen before that are completely made up for these mons that completely change how they work. Like it's just a bad example of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you don't really separate it as this individual like game mode that just functions differently like you do in a PvE game.
Yeah,
And so
and
that's
it's
why I
kind of
usually
like
tend to avoid that.
it's do you remember in Gen 8 when one of the DLCs was coming out and there was this supposed leak that came out with a bunch of like Tapu Koko and Bulu getting play rough, or I think it was just Bulu, I don't remember, getting play rough. And like there were a bunch of, and like Grassy Glide, and there were a bunch of crazy changes that were like, it felt like good changes for the metagame, and a lot of Gen A draft leagues took it as
Actually
serious, and then
started
it
using
ended
it.
up
Wow.
being, yeah, actually started using it, and it ended up being like totally fake.
Yeah, that's gonna say
Kind of feels like that, maybe
that's like
to a
somebody's
lesser
somebody's
extent.
theory that's just like, wow, great theory. Like the Nintendo Direct prediction that's just like they announce every game that I want, and there's 50 games coming out this year, and it's all the most fan wanted things. But leak, by the way, I said leak at the top, and I posted on 4chan, so it's a leak. And then YouTubers, is this real? Is this a real leak? Should we talk about this? It's like
Yeah,
it's not a real leak. Like it's just somebody
true.
wants this.
I
Like
think the
they
leakers are
don't
just
do
paid
the thing
off.
that you want.
Leakers are just paid off by a big YouTuber.
Yeah. So, but that's like, I wish that I could have leaked like Moonblast Wigglytuff like 3 generations ago, and then people would have
Yeah,
started using it, and then realizing that's
true.
it's just not a thing that's coming. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
this is a interesting topic. Uh, I can't remember where I was talking about it, but it might have just been like on Reddit. Um, about there's always the debate of are the Legends games actually mainline games? Pokemon Company
Hmm.
says that they are, but functionally, like you can't really put them in the same category as
It's like Let's Go, right?
the
Like, is Let's Go technically
yeah, it's weird.
mainline?
Well, the combat in Let's Go is actually the same, so I would say that Let's Go is
But is that
more
what defines
fundamental.
a mainline game?
Well, that's kind of the question. Is like people never really
Yeah.
know. The reason that I think that so they're more mainline than a like mystery dungeon game. Why? Because you can't transfer a Pokemon from Mystery Dungeon to any other Pokemon game. It is
Yeah.
in Mystery Dungeon. I compare them more to like Coliseum in that sense, where it's like you can transfer them on from Coliseum up through all the games. Like that's the thing that you can do. Like you wouldn't
And it uses the
say
same
that
battle system except for
right.
flies or
Yeah,
whatever.
and so you and there's like a unique function of like the catching the shadow mons and your shadow Pokemon in general, but it's like it's still something that, like this translates over to the real games. And that's kind of how I saw like the Legends games in that sense. The difference is that with like the move sets in Arceus, there were a few that didn't carry over. Whereas
Hmm.
that if even with like the Gen 8 and Gen 9 moveset pruning, there was still like if something got something in Gen 8, whether it was the base game or the DLC, the expectation was it would keep it. Sometimes it didn't, but sometimes it was just like, oh well, there was a TM in Sword and Shield that wasn't in Scarlet and Violet, so maybe that's the only reason to get it. They still keep it in NatDex. They didn't keep things from Arceus in NatDex, and I think there's a very clear reason for that, and it's because Arceus, first of all, was balanced around not having items and abilities, but more importantly,
Yeah.
certain moves just weren't the same. Like double hit
Yeah,
went
literally.
from being a physical normal type move to a buff. So what do you do with that when there's already a limited number of moves in the game and return's been removed from the game, and now you have Ambipom who's in the game? What does Ambipom normally use? Double hit. Okay, well now it doesn't have double hit. It does. It's like just like missing these like normal type moves. So they gave, not that this is an exact replacement, but it got quick attack. It was a base move that Apom got, was just quick attack. Quick attack has never been in a regular game where Ambipom exists and has technician. It just hasn't. It hasn't been on the
Yeah.
Mon, and it's never been in NatDex for that reason because it's only in Arceus and it was like a move balancing. With ZA though, I think it's actually different. I think that any moves that these Mons have gotten in ZA are going to stay, and I think first of all, it's closer to a regular game because the held items exist, even though the items don't. I mean, even though the abilities don't. But the other thing is that I think even though the battle system is obviously functionally very different from the base games, the moves themselves are actually very much the same. There's no double hit situation in ZA. The closest thing that I can think of to something that's like completely different as a move will be something like Stealth Rock, where it's like it
Yeah.
doesn't stop you. I mean, it doesn't make you take damage when you swap, but it does the same thing. It's setting a hazard on the field. Same with spikes, the same way. That I think is much closer to the functionality in the base game that it's like it's not going to change the balance of the mon. You give a mon Stealth Rock and ZA, it's a mon that could get Stealth Rock in the base game and it's not going to change anything. Whereas I think, or put it this way, if there's a there's no missing moves that a mon would have had because that move got changed. So it's like if that was your only stab move that you had, not Stealth Rock, but you know what I mean? Like if there's a move that was your only stab move, that move's not here because it functions differently. That changes the balance of the game. Maybe they give that mon a different stab move that they wouldn't normally get and they don't give it to it back. That's not really a thing in ZA. So I think that everything in ZA is going to carry over. And this is all cope that I want Wigglytuff to keep Moonblast. So
True, definitely cope. Yeah, I don't remember how we got there. We were talking about Radical Red and like real games.
well, it was like the
and
moveset
are these real
changes
games?
and like custom movesets and like,
True,
what's
true,
going to
true, yeah.
stay from ZA, what's going to go away, like that kind of stuff. And I was just saying,
Yeah.
like, I think that like movesets we can actually, I would personally be pretty confident that these moves are staying. I don't think there are that many dramatic changes, and the moves themselves function similarly enough that if they can have it in ZA and be a fair mon still, they can have it in the base game regardless of abilities.
I'm interested to see how Champions treats like legacy moves and whether they'll be
Yeah.
allowed. Because honestly, Champions kind of feels like it's gonna be the like definitive edition, basically, of
Yeah.
like NatDex like Smogon tiers. So yeah, very interested to see what that is, because that format might just become the default moving on.
Yeah.
Cut out a lot of the extra like random moves that have been cut. Like some are cut here, some aren't cut there, etc. Just kind of like what you were saying about Arceus and like Legends, what moves are allowed here and stuff. I don't know. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of hype for Champions.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Champions ignites a spark in a lot of our old player base, because we have a lot of new players this season, which is like definitely a good thing. I think everybody who we've added this season has like is a net positive for the league, like 100%. But very curious to see how many applications we're gonna get when Gen 10 or when Champions comes out.
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of the OGs who like got kind of burnt out of Gen 9, like Terra NatDex, yeah, might get a little more enthused to come back. So
yeah,
that'll be exciting. But sorry, speaking of a lot of new players, we do have actually I forgot the count, but we'll be looking at all of the rosters for All-Star and Hustle Division coming up. And I think it'll be really interesting to see a lot of these debut players drafts. I know that I don't think there's there's no debuts in All-Stars as normal. We try to keep it that way, but we have a lot of, I think 5 new players inserted directly into Hustle in their NBA debut. So definitely excited to see the community ratings for those teams and see if they're able to stand up to our vets when it comes to ratings.
Yeah. Azzy in the chat says Showdown is still the ultimate Pokemon experience because I don't have to use a console to play it. Champions will be on your phone at least. I don't think it'll have like a PC port, but it won't just be on console. And it is going to be free to play. Like they've announced. I think what we've seen so far is that they've confirmed that it's going to be like free to start, like any like those kinds of games. You'll have to pay for probably anything cosmetic.
Storage.
I wouldn't think. Yeah, I wouldn't think that there's any like gameplay or like
EV
anything
customization.
like that that's gonna be. Yeah, like that. I think that EV customization will probably be able to be done without paying anything, or maybe you just be like you have to do it in a game that you have and then transfer it over. Like that's how you avoid having to use like EV tokens or something. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So that's like I think they know that the audience for this one is like they're trying to get people who play Showdown to want to use this instead. And so I
think it'll be
think
successful.
They're gonna try it. Yeah, well, but that's why I think that they're gonna try to make sure that they avoid any of that like friction with having to pay to do like anything that you currently have to do on Showdown, right? Whereas like
if there's a
people will buy
function,
skins, it's fine. Like they don't have to worry about that.
And avatars and stuff. If there's
Yeah,
a premium function to
I
like
will.
have an in-client or in-game like league, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
That would be
I always
something that
look back at like
I would
the
fight on.
Mario Kart 8 tournament settings that they had, where it's like surprisingly, even though like it's Mario Kart, so there's only so much you can do with customization. I really liked like how they set it up there, where it's like you could set up not only your own community, but you could also set up like a recurring monthly tournament and set with these
Hmm.
specific rules and like have this specific set. It would be super cool if you could do that, and basically like Smogon could have its own like community, but then they could have their own like seasonal brackets or something where it's like they have these custom rules, these mons are banned, these things are banned. Like I think that's the only way that we ever get anything close to like OU in an official game would be if they allowed like communities to make their own rule sets and like people could play those ladders or play tournaments with those rules, which is
Hmm.
possible. I don't like we have to wait and see what they do with that, but
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And I,
yeah.
oh man, the thing is, there's so many cool things that they could do with champions, and I'm just used to over the last at least like 6 to 8 years or so, just kind of being let down with like most Pokemon products.
It's worth
So,
noting that this
uh,
is not the same as the main games where it's like I know what you mean, and I think the same can be said for like just anything Nintendo too, where it's like sometimes it's two steps forward, one step back, or one step forward, two steps back. Like you just never really know
yeah,
what they're gonna do with the game. But then randomly you'll get a game that just like has really good customization, or like they have like everything but this one thing. With Pokemon and their spin-offs, especially their like mobile spin-offs, it's they're more in tune with like what the rest of the industry is doing in ways that the console games aren't, where like the console games kind of
yeah,
just do what
true.
they want either way. Like Pokemon
Yeah,
Unite, still very much a Pokemon product that has its like Pokemon slash Nintendo issues with like the way that it's done, but at the same time it's like it's much more robust of like a game than like Smash is online, where it's just like a linear rating system that has nothing else
yeah.
to it, and so like they do sometimes take that into account. I don't know what to expect with Champions because I think it is being made like in house by the main team, so maybe that changes something. It's not being made by like DNA, who does a lot of the mobile games, or like Niantic, how like Pokemon Go and all that. But
Hmm.
but anyway, I think we've probably talked enough about that. Let's jump
Yeah,
over
yapped
to the
for long enough by now.
yeah. We have
I
a
mean,
slightly
well, it's been
different
a while.
format. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. When's the last time we streamed? It would have been. Did we even
It's
stream for
based on
last
the
season playoffs?
title. Based on the title, it was the playoff preview
Mm.
of
The
last time. I don't
playoff
think we
previews. Yeah,
yeah
that's
we
right. So we
didn't
didn't
do the
even do like a
replays for
postseason.
anything. Yeah, it
I
was.
don't know about you. I was so swamped
Oh, me
by
too.
the
And I
end
was
of
like, it was
last
just super
season. It was
busy
ridiculous.
because we talked a bit off stream, like kind of about what are we doing with content going forward,
Hmm.
um, just like with the volume of the league now, just because it's so much bigger now. There's so many more things. For those of you who don't know, who joined later or who didn't ever find out, the reason that I am the content person here is because season one, when I was playing, I just decided for fun because I had the programs to do it to just make graphics based on the poll results that like the polls that were
Yeah.
already being done, and it was just kind of like, hey, I could put this into like a fun looking thing where like we just like have all the people's trainer sprites on the stuff, whatever, and I just do it for fun. And then the league started growing. I think the immediate next season was when we had Truant as well. So it's like, okay, well now there's three. It can still mostly copy paste stuff between them, but it's like gets a little bit more of a hassle, like sifting through all the data. We have to make sure the polls are written in time, and then like the other mods are all busy sometimes, not able to go through stuff. And then like over time, it just became like I'm not even watching most of the game, so like I can't choose who should be on this poll. Like I kind of have to like we kind of all have to like rely on each other to do things on like these individual deadlines that people can't necessarily meet because real life stuff is happening, and then we don't talk about it for a week. So it's just kind of
Yeah.
once you have four divisions and they're all full size divisions too, it very quickly became like, yeah, maybe this isn't really feasible anymore to just do for fun. But the doc itself has gotten way better, and it has so
Oh
much more
my
information
God,
on the
the
doc.
difference from yeah.
Yeah, and so what we
Wow.
kind of decided was, at least for like the polls at the end of the season, instead of doing these big polls that are basically just like, yeah, if you watched every game, I'm sure your opinion is much more valid than the other 60% of the people who are just filling out the form and looking at the stats. Why even do that when now we have a tab that just tells you who the best, like who the most KOs on a mega was,
Yeah, a
who
much more
did this,
like
and
empirical
broken
way
down
of
by
doing it.
tier too. And it's like that's 90% of the time your winning vote for any tier is going to be, this mom was overpowered. It has 30 more KOs than anyone else in the tier. And we all know that it's broken, and we all know that it's going to get first. This is not an interesting poll answer. Or
Yeah.
it's like, here's all of the low tiers. 3 of them even went to a single game. 1 of them did one thing. That mon
Yeah.
gets every vote, and everything else is like, maybe you voted for your own mon for your second vote, or maybe something was funny about this. Like, it just got to the point where, like, when we're going through these results and like putting them on a graphic, it's like, wow, this is the least interesting poll I've ever seen, because
Yeah.
it's just what the stats already say. And now that we have that all on the doc, like, it just kind of felt like it was kind of pointless to do. That being said, what the like tentative plan is we would still have like maybe like an end of season recap of it where we go through all
Mhm.
the stats. I think that was something that just kind of like, we didn't, like I said, we didn't even end up doing the playoff review because I think it was just the
Yeah.
worst possible time of the year. And then it was like 3
Yeah.
weeks later, it's like, do they even remember that we had a season? Like, maybe we could just not say
Did we
anything.
did
Yeah.
we have did season 6 happen?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But that was kind of like, if we're gonna do it like that going forward, like, that's probably the play. Is it would just be like,
Yeah.
we'll do a stat review at the end. And in order to like get to that point without being burnt out, we kind of have a new structure for the stream this season, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about when we start getting into the replay reviews. But they're not going to be every week. It's going to, I think, right now we're looking at like every other week, but like each week we'll have a specific reason that we're doing it that week. So like
Yeah.
this week we're doing the roster reviews. There's not a lot of like great information after the first week or the first 2 weeks, where it's just kind of like these, like, the win loss could be for anything. It could have been the 2 best players in the league playing each other week 1, and then if you're reviewing the win loss, it's like, well, I guess Zap's not making playoffs. He started 0-1 because he lost to Riceman. I don't know if that match didn't happen, but you know what I mean. Where it's like it just kind of means nothing to go through that. But and then we'll have like, let's say after week 4, it's like, now it's a mid-season review. That's a lot more meaningful of a point. Okay, 2 weeks later, what's that? That's right before playoffs, and like right before people start to clinch. So like, what needs to happen
Yeah.
here? And then we have like right before playoffs. So it's like, here's first of all like the last final things that actually matter, but also like, here's a little bit of a playoff preview. Like, what are we going to see?
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
going to be
The
here?
preview
So,
and I know that Goater sometimes likes to make those little docs with all of the like odds, like the percentages that
yeah,
certain people make playoffs, and it's exciting to watch. If there's any like trade deadline theories of like, how could this team
right.
improve to make sure that they have a deep playoff run and stuff. Like, there's a lot of theoretical, kind of hypothetical, I think, stuff that you can talk about that's exciting by the end of the season. And yeah, it's just a little bit more streamer friendly, just so we don't get like totally burnt.
Yeah. And so then it makes it so that
But
like each stream is more interesting. So it's like there's more of
yeah,
a
yeah,
reason to like tune into each one, because it's not just gonna be like the same information every time. Like, where we're kind of talking about the
yeah,
same thing.
and
It's like, here's a couple of replays that you probably already saw, and then you know we'll talk about the doc and make the same points.
yeah. You know what I remembered though is so you, when you started out as a promo, like the content guy, I think the first thing you might have actually done before you did the highlight, like the leaderboards, was I think you made our logo.
That might have
Was that
been
before or
I don't remember
after?
if
I
that
don't
was
remember.
before.
Yeah, because you, for anybody who doesn't know, the Durant over the basketball with the NBA toady made that. The one that's
That might
our
have been
Discord
before.
thing, our the big logo that's front and center on the dock. Yeah, I think that's
Oh, I
maybe
think it
what.
was. I think because I
Yeah,
saw the
it was
doc, I was like,
that.
wow, I hate this graphic. I'm gonna make a better one.
Yeah.
I
Well, what's
just made.
funny? What's funny though is the league started out as like a complete ironic
Yeah.
almost like a joke league, right? Where the whole doc was like written in
I mean, the
Comic
name still is a
Sans,
joke.
and we had like all of our avatar characters T-posing all over the rules
Yeah.
page, and like there was a bunch of really silly stuff. And then when we brought you on to make things look a lot more official, is when I think the doc started to look a lot better. We started doing actual stream content. We started doing actual like end of season award content and stuff.
Yeah,
So
we're never doing
yeah, it
that
was
again. I'm not
definitely
doing the awards stream. That took so long.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
with like the PowerPoint presentation too. Just like Jesus,
yeah. That was really
that took.
cool though. One of my
It
favorite
was
things.
fun, but that was like that was with
It's
2
it's not
divisions. I think
sustainable.
like
Yeah,
we
it's
could
not
not do that for
sustainable.
4 divisions.
Yeah. Anyways,
We almost did. I think the season after that, and then I like started working on it. I was like, I'm not remaking any of this. It's going to be the same PowerPoint, and it's going to be so much more boring because it's just the
mhm.
same PowerPoint. Probably with like the same PNGs on it too, because it was just Overmat's Mega Aggron again winning every category. It's like I don't have to
Yeah,
change half of these. So, like,
yeah. It won. Wow, it won the high tier
yeah,
division and it won the mega division. Like wow, great. Anyways, we had been yapping enough when we said we'd been yapping enough about 10 minutes
yeah,
ago. Now we've really been yapping enough.
yeah.
So
Now we have the rosters on screen.
I believe it's time to take a look at some rosters.
Oh, you know why I started talking about the format change? Because I was gonna say how this one's gonna be different. So like in the past
Yes.
when we do these roster reviews, we would kind of like say our opinions, whatever, and then like give it a number rating, and then be like, like whether we agree with each other or not. And then we started doing the polls, where it's like, all right, you guys tell us what you think, and then we'll show that after we say our thing. This time we're doing it kind of the opposite. So we have the poll here. We have 18 responses, and this is for all 4 divisions. We are going to give the average rating first, and then we will talk about like whether we agree with it, what do we like about it, etc. And I think that will cut down on the time a little bit because we don't have to like try to justify things to like not hurt your feelings when we're like, well, I want to give
Yeah,
this a 6, but I
much.
need to make sure I'm pretty thorough. So like, I'm
Yeah.
not just
How do I
like
say this without hurting
shitting
your
on for no
feelings?
reason. Yeah. So this way, you guys can be dicks to each other, and then we'll just say, yeah, hey, I mean,
And we'll agree.
the audience thinks this. All right, we're just agreeing with what the audience
We're
says.
just explaining maybe why they think that.
Yeah. So it protects us. And also because we've done this enough times that I feel like most of you guys know the things that we like on a team, and starting every single roster going like, well, I see a monkey on here. Let's talk about why I like that on this team for 3 minutes.
Say the line.
Levitate?
No, just about monkeys.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want me to say the line about levitate.
I don't want you to talk about levitate. We're not ever talking
we'll be
about
here
levitate.
for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Okay,
right, so that being said,
let's take a look at our first roster. We've already got it up on screen here. We've got Gensuzu as our first All-Star roster. He had first overall pick, and to not very many people's surprise, maybe to Afonso's surprise, because he got sniped on the first round. The first overall went to Coco. And the community, let me see.
I got it.
The community gave this team a 7.61 out of 10. And it's split mostly between 7s and 8s, with 110 and one that went down as low as 4.
Yeah.
So definitely centered
9s.
around the 7 and 8, which is obviously why it's about a 7.5. But a pretty wide spread. Oh, I should mention this data is based on the results of 18 poll responses. We got about 5 more after I made that last announcement of like, hey, come get your poll in, please. So thank you for anybody who did that last minute. And we'll keep it open so that we can keep accepting reviews for Truant and Swarm rosters.
Yeah. And even if you get it in like while we're in the middle of All-Star, it's like it'll just be updated for the next person. Who cares? Like it's still we're just going based on average.
Yep. The link for it is in announcements channel on Discord.
Yeah, and then the other thing to keep an eye on, I don't know, do you have the trades up right now? Because that's the other thing is that these polls, the screenshot that was on the poll, is all based on the initial roster, and there have been some trades on some of these teams.
The only trade since Grace that won't be reflected on these polls is actually Azzy's trade that hasn't quite gone through yet. It's a week 2 trade, so we'll be updating that by the end of this week. Skyhops is saying 7.5 is really good if the scores are anything like the last 2 seasons. I think the highest was barely 8 before. Yeah. Last season's ratings were really low. And I think, yeah, for the most part, they are fairly low as well here. So 7.5 is actually a very good rating comparatively.
Well, I just noticed that the my cursor was showing twice. I think I can only show it on one at once, or else it's going to do that.
Uh-oh.
So I had to change the settings. We're good though. All right,
Okay,
so
so
yeah, I mean, like this
what do we
is
see?
you mentioned Coco. Like right here, we have our Coco with treads and iron hands. Like you got your future paradox mons to pair with it. You also have an unburdened Terra Captain. It's always good.
Yep.
But
And I think
is the Terra
Terra
limit still the
Hands
same?
is
It's
really
20,
strong.
right? Because this
It's
is
20,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Terra Hands I feel like is just very strong and self-sufficient. Honestly, even on its own, and just having the Coco support is really nice. I don't usually like hands on electric terrain teams if it doesn't have Terra, just because I feel like a lot of like people prepping for Coco are basically also prepping for hands just by bringing ground moves. But yeah, with Terra, I think is very, very strong. Between treads and hands, I think the SPDF stat feels very lacking until you go a little bit further down to like Milotic and Yuxi, which can
Yeah.
be a bit more SPDF. You can run like AV on a bunch of your mons, so
Definitely
you
run AV
can,
treads.
yeah, treads. Honestly, even Samurad, even hands.
Treads
So
defensive typing is enough that I think that like a lot of times, unless we're talking about like a really strong like water offensive mon, it'll at least be able to like, you know, if you need to tune it with AV towards something, like just being able to resist so many things. What I actually like, so it has one fairy and it's Coco. Coco's a good enough mon that it's like, I think it's okay to be going fairy, but it's not a super defensive fairy if you need it doing offensive things. What I like though is that you have hands to really break through any steel types that would hinder Coco's fairy offense, because Coco doesn't have Moonblast, so it just has Gleam. But like there aren't a lot of things that are going to be able to wall an offensive Coco when you have like treads to obliterate poison types with the ground stab and the poison immunity, and hands to obliterate steel types. It's like you really just, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to open up an offensive Coco on this team.
Yeah, I do think that even though hands is Terra, I think the team does still kind of struggle against ground types. A lot of ground types specifically have like higher defense than SPDF, so Samurai Hisui isn't really like that good at beating ground types. So you're kind of relying on your like Levitate Yuxi and Milotic to beat it. Yuxi? Uxie?
You're what?
Levitate?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I do think that Pawn. I do think Pawn is very strong. Fire Pawn's honestly one of my favorite fire types, I think, or at the very least one of my favorite grasses.
Your grass type that's not going to be resisting any.
Yeah, type. It's not resisting water. It's not resisting ground, but I don't think that's even a big deal. It's more so that it's like its offensive profile with fire grass is actually very strong.
Oh, it is. I'm just saying in the context of the team where you're saying that it's missing some ground.
Yeah,
it does hurt that your grass type isn't resisting it.
Yeah, it's specifically the like switch-ins for EQs. I feel like, are you really going Ments all the time?
So also, as the person building against this team, it does have 3 ground immunities, right? So it's like,
it does.
You're not completely banking on like a banded Quake. spammer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
exactly.
can't really account for that. But I agree generally. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna be, especially when like if your Tusk is kind of being shoehorned into being a little more defensive in some games, he's not a ground swap. Like if he's gonna be like max HP with AV or something, it's like even though like normally he might be a bit bulky enough to like take a physical hit, it's like he's not taking a quake if he's not invested in that defense.
yeah. Even just something like a standard like Amon that just gets Bolt Beam, a
Yeah.
Porygon Z, even like
Well, any
Latios or
Terra
something.
captain.
Yeah, Terra Captains that just have like ice coverage.
Yeah.
I feel like are going to be pretty strong against this team. But honestly, it's pretty hard to do badly with a Coco team. If you just
Yeah.
do Iron Tribal and you get Coco and things that use the electric terrain, you're going to have a good team. That's
Yeah.
why it's no surprise to me that
This team
it
wins on
has a good
offense.
rating. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
And
it's
Milo, I
the
think,
kind of
is good
offense
enough.
that you can't give it any momentum. Like even sometimes if something
Yeah.
dies because it couldn't tank it, whatever. Maybe you have electric terrain up and you just get a free full health hands coming in to do whatever it wants.
Yeah,
Right? Like that's not
exactly.
necessarily a winning position for the person who got the KO anyway.
Yeah, I maybe would have liked to have seen Yuxi be Mesprit instead. I believe they're around the same point cost, but I think the Healing Wish into Iron Hands is going to be
Yeah.
ridiculously, like, would have been ridiculously strong.
Well, even into treads, like just to give him recovery.
Yeah, sure.
As
I
a
mean,
whole.
hands in particular is really nice because you can just one for
Yeah.
one and always like win the trade and just leave it low HP to heal up later. I don't think Treads really has the same like punching power that hands has, but I mean, it could
I mean, he
also
doesn't
do
have
the job.
hands.
True. That's where you lose.
Yeah.
So personally, I think this team is very strong, and
Yeah.
I do think it kind of just rides the Coco free real estate with Ironmon's train a bit, but it's hard to not do that. Like it's just a free synergy there, right?
Yeah.
With Terra Hands and
But then you also
Treads,
have like the
a lot
secret
of roll
weapon with the Terra
compression.
Driftbloom too. Like that's something that you can't
Yep.
ignore.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
could just run away with the game.
Yep.
It's nice that it's like
So I
also
mean,
the
Coco
opposite
team
kind
is
of
Coco
attacker.
team. Yeah, I think it's hard to look at this team negatively. Personally,
Yeah.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I don't know
Nice.
if you actually went and rated them,
I have
but
not rated these
I
ones.
agree
No.
with the high rating.
The
And
higher
like
rating too.
Skyhop said, being above 7 in the community PR where people are very harsh
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe the one thing I would say that is a drawback here is it doesn't really have special attackers. Your
You're
highest
right.
special attack is
The
Salamence.
special attacker, yeah, you're right. I guess it's just like Drift Blim, CM Drift Blim.
Yeah,
You're right. It's very
but
physically
like there's
offensive.
options for it, right? And like I was
Yeah.
saying too, with it's like you have a lot of ways to make Coco break the game open. If Coco's not being pressured to be a defensive mon, where like on this kind of team where you are just gonna be like very offensively minded, you could just run Specs Coco, and it's like you're making up for the lacking special attack by just having a Specs fast mon on,
Mhm.
and then electric terrain's also obviously buffing that like the special electric attacks too. Like so it's not
Yep.
really just like 95 special attack when
Yeah.
you implement that. But, so
It could use a grounded poison, I guess, is like one thing that is quite that
yeah,
it's like literally missing, but that's a very
you have a
minute
steel type with
thing.
spin though, so it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
You just have to take an extra turn to get rid of him.
yeah. Anyway, I think that's a really good way to start off the division.
Yeah.
Next up, we can move on to Afonso.
And I'm gonna remember to change the name up here too. Chat, you
True,
need to
true,
yell
true,
at
true.
me if I don't remember to do this. We had to like move things and like recenter it.
Yeah.
So I had to add this.
Yeah, dock upgrade
Yeah.
made our stream format not work anymore. Anyway, we've got Afonso who left the pick of Tapu Koko and came back and saw that he was sniped and cried. But so Afonso
he
makes
was
it back to
actually
All-Star.
second. Okay.
He was actually second and he
I
wanted
think
Koko, yeah.
I think that's a fair like if it, you would expect it to go in the first 3 picks, right? But
First 3 to probably at least
I
first
think
3.
if you're the second pick, I think it's fair to be like, oh shit, I got sniped on the
Yeah,
round
you're
one.
right.
It's like there are so many
Yeah.
round 1 picks that you could have made.
I mean, considering we have a first pick Belly Bolt third overall, which
Hey,
we'll
whoa,
get to.
spoiler!
It's on the screen.
Oh, spoiler! We gotta cover that.
But But yeah, so Alfonso makes it back to All-Star. I believe he had a break season in Hustle last time around, and he got the call for the promotion once again. And so he's back. I
Yeah.
might be wrong on that, by the way. Don't quote me, but he's back.
Well, season 6 didn't happen, so it doesn't really
It's
matter.
true. It's true. It's true.
So Alfonso, I'm
The
looking at the results here.
Mhm.
We got a an average rating of a 6.89, and that is with most of the votes being sevens and eights.
Mhm.
Again, I believe, yeah, that was the same as before, except this one has slightly more sevens than eights. The highest is only one nine, so there's no tens, and it stops at the eights. There is one person who put a one, and I don't know who that is. If that's like if that's a troll or if somebody actually thought that it was a one.
It was
Um,
probably Alfonso.
could have been him. That's what I'm thinking. Like that might have just been Alfonso, which means that if you take that out, then that average goes up to probably pretty squarely, like maybe like I would say like
Yeah,
7.3 or 4.
about a 7 or
Um,
like 6.9
yeah,
something
because there's
for
still
sure.
5 people who voted 8 as well. So it's like
Mhm.
I think we could pull a little bit up that way. But yeah, so I would say let's maybe ignore that one down there and lean more towards like the 7.5. What are you thinking about that? You think that's pretty accurate?
So I don't think it's as good as Gensuzu's team. Personally, I gave it a 7. I think the rating is pretty good, but again, considering how low the community, like how harshly the community rates things, I think I actually rated it a bit lower than expected because I usually rate things above what the community says. Um,
Because you're such a nice
I
guy.
Yeah, because I'm such a nice guy. A problem that I have with the team is I feel like the Terra captains feel weird to me where like Jolteon almost feels like the star here. Terra Entei I think is very strong, but if you want Entei to be the primary captain, I think it needs something else in 9 that like can use the Terra maybe defensively and doesn't rely
Yeah,
on it as much as Jolteon does. Um, so for
I like
example,
Terra
like a
Jolteon,
curse,
but
yeah, me too. Terra Jolteon's great, but for example, like a curse like Terra Normal Extreme Speed Entei or something is like very good and very devastating, and I
yeah.
think Entei in particular can use Terra really well, and I think it's underrated. But I think it's going to basically be regular Entei in most games
Hmm.
when Afonso needs Jolteon speed, because Jolteon's the kind of mod that you run Terra Blast on that mod almost all the time. You run like Terra Grass,
Yeah, you need it for
Terra
coverage.
Blast. You run Terra Ice, Terra Blast. I've seen Flying before and Fairy before. If it's Fairy, you can run what's it called? Dazzling Gleam? No, it doesn't even get Gleam, does it?
I don't.
Alluring Voice, maybe. I think it has.
I
That's
think
what its
yeah,
Fairy
Alluring Voice
coverage
is the
is.
new
Yeah,
one that it got in Gen
yeah,
9.
yeah. Um, so in most cases, Jolteon will be running Terra Blast, and in most cases, when you run Terra Blast on something and you don't Terra it, like it's just kind of bad. So you plan on Terraing Jolteon
Hmm.
probably more than Entei. That was just like an initial gripe. Otherwise, I can't say I'm much of a Mega Sableye believer. It's over the course of a few
Was this
seasons,
stall?
yeah, it's gone from like 12, 13 points or whatever it was to just every season it just gets dropped and dropped and dropped because like it doesn't really see much play, and even when it does, it doesn't get very much traction. Like it just doesn't do what it's supposed to do, really.
Yeah.
Definitely a power creep thing, just because it used to be its defensive stat line used to be lot better back before power creep really took off.
Yeah,
But I think in
125,
Gen 9 in
115.
particular, it's really hard for it to deal with all the paradoxes and all the legendaries running.
Yeah. Well, and even if you think about like what regular Sableye does, it's like very reliant on screens to survive a lot of things.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
you can't run Light Clay on Mega Sableye. You
Hmm.
can't do anything with that. You can't run lefties. Like you just lose a lot. And I think the reason that Mega Sableye is like a stall mon is that it can't really do the stall job by itself. Like you need other mons as well, like around it. Like you need,
Yeah.
but so it'll be interesting. I mean, what else do we have that's like really bulky here? I mean, like we have the Gliscor that can be tanky.
Yeah,
Scizor can
Gliscor
be,
is see,
but
that's also my other gripe because I think the offense on this team is actually very good. right?
Yeah.
And like the speed profile is very strong. There's not many gaps between like Jolteon, Valiant, Ogerpon, down to Kyurem. There's even
There's
like
a
a
pretty
Tentacruel and an
big
Entei in
gap from
there.
95 to 65 though, and then down to 20. There's like nothing in the lower tiers.
Yeah, so the bulkier mons are always going to be able to run full bulk because they
Yeah.
don't care about outspeeding Scizor. They're getting a bullet punched anyways, and they
Right.
don't care about outspeeding Sableye. So yeah, you're right. I actually didn't consider that. But like overall, the team covers most roles well, right?
Mhm.
I think the problem comes that there's a couple kind of like mons that have very low roll compression, like Kyurem, um, and Entei are kind of just like pure offense mons that don't really fill any roles. Um, and it leaves things like Gliscor now has to be stealth rocks every single week, right?
Who
It's the
else has
only
rocks?
rocker.
Is it
Sorry?
the only one? I was just wondering who else has rocks.
Oh yeah,
Does
it's the
Sableye
only
not have
rocker
it?
on the team. No, there are spikers like Tentacruel has T spikes and
Ogerpon
Pawn
has spikes.
has regular spikes. Um, but yeah, I mean that was just a
I see
problem for
what you
me. I
mean
think
with that though.
when there's only one option for any particular role on a team, it feels very shoehorned, and it's not even bad. Like I still rate this team a 7 out of 10, which is good. Like I think it does every role. It has something to do all the time. I think it'll just feel like you're on your heels in some matchups that have more flexibility than you.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, maybe like this probably isn't a huge deal. Um, a lot of these mons want to run like a choice item, or at least like not that they have to, but like I feel like a lot of their strength comes from the choice threat.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
if you're looking at like calcs and stuff, you might be like tempted to run it on like certain mons, but then like be like, well, I can't run like three
Yeah.
specs at the same time, right? Like you kind of have to decide there.
Yeah.
Whereas like Gliscor's item is decided, you know what he's bringing.
Yeah.
Um, is Booster banned on Valiant? I forget.
It's recently unbanned.
Okay, so it can't use Booster. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe
But
that's
I do
one less
think
that I should
that
worry about. But Ogerpon
yeah,
can't hold an
it's
item. Probably
yeah,
choice banned a lot of the time. Probably specs a lot of the
on
time.
on
Banned
what,
a
sorry?
lot, I'm sure. On what?
Oh, on things you're
Oh, I
clicking,
was
yeah.
saying so like
I wasn't
Entei's
looking at
probably
the stream.
banned a lot. Jolteon's probably
Hmm.
specs a lot.
Yeah.
And then Scizor could be banned, but it's like again,
You
like
could ban
it's the question of like
Scizor. You
does
could
Scizor really want to run ban when like you already have, let's say, like banded Entei and
yeah.
specs Kyurem and whatever else. Like it's again, it's not like a massive weakness because these are all strong sets, and if anything, like the threat of that also benefits you. That people have to be preparing for that. But I think that maybe in team building, it could be like a challenge to kind of decide like, all right, who are the choice users actually going to be this time, and then like, am I making one of these guys weaker just because I don't want to run more choice items, or is this set actually optimal for this matchup?
Hmm. I I see what you're saying. I think it's a little reductionist, but
Yeah,
I agree that like those are really strong sets for it, and it might get in the way that you have so many of them. It's almost like
yeah,
too much redundancy in some things and not enough redundancy in the
yeah,
like roles that matter. It's definitely just a more offensive game plan.
yeah.
I
I just
do
think that
like
it's
a
like less
lot.
creativity with items in general when it's like when you have like two
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
already spoken for, and then a lot of mons that are like kind of just need to run an offensive item, whether that's a choice item or not. You
yeah.
just really limit like berry play and rocky helmets and stuff. Like you don't have somebody who could be really a rocky helmet user on this team. Like if you ever need that for a matchup,
Yeah, I guess like Scizor
like Tentacruel
in
could
like
too.
U-turn matchups, Tentacruel,
Yeah,
yeah. Tentacruel is good. So that's one redundant sorry, not redundancy. Doubling up. I guess it's kind of a redundancy. Where I like the double water with Pawn Tenta.
yeah.
Because I like the mode like the Pawn is the ground resist and being a water immune for I feel like Scizor Gliscor water is one of the types that like they kind of struggle to find a happy medium for.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, I like the pawn being the water immunity, so you don't have to tentacle if you like reliable switch-ins for water. Kyurem
Yeah,
can switch into some water moves, but it's like you said, if you're running a choice item, how many times can you do that over the course of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I they're both um neutral to grass, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So like neither of your water types are weak to like a traditional good answer for bulky water types or just annoying water types in general. Um,
Yeah,
so
they
that
don't
gives
actually
you a lot of
share a
flexibility
single
there.
weakness. I guess freeze dry is the weakness they share,
Yeah,
but otherwise there's nothing
but
similar.
Tentacruel has 120 special defense and it's only uh single weak to it. So I feel like it probably tanks a lot of freeze
Yeah,
dry,
it does. It does.
especially if it's
Yeah.
coverage. But actually, does anyone
But yeah.
even
So
get
like I said,
coverage freeze
my
dry, or is it only ice types?
coverage freeze dry.
I actually
Hmm.
can't think of anyone who does.
I think it's only stab.
Yeah.
That's a good question. If anybody
Actually, I haven't
knows
really
a
thought about it until
non-ice
now.
type that learns freeze dry, let us know. But I'm pretty sure it's only ice type.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I rated this a 7. The community said just below a 7 as well. Kind
Yeah,
of
but realistically, probably a
right
little
on
bit
the
higher
nose.
without that one.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, true. Probably closer to a 7. So
Yeah.
cool.
All right. Next up, we got
We've got Jortson.
Jortson. Spoiler alert: Jortson picked round 1 Belly Bolt.
He did. Lipard probably true. Well, yeah, assist shenanigans. Oh, does Mew learn freeze dry? I don't think it even does. I don't think it's tutorable.
No.
I guess
Well, yeah.
Smeargle.
Yeah, anyone that like has something that just like copies any move is going to be able to learn it.
Yeah.
Hey, has anyone besides Arceus learned Judgment? Well,
Crazy. Okay, so we've got Jortson. He, as we alluded to earlier, round 1 picked Bellybolt, 3rd overall.
great pick.
And apparently, the story behind it, it's pinned, I think, somewhere in Discord. He asked PokeAim while he was streaming something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm going to bed now, um, and I'm starting up a Gen 9 draft. What should I pick first?" And he went, Bellybolt," and so he did.
There you go.
So he clipped it and he sent it to chat and said, "This is my pick,"
Oh, that was
and he
actually
stuck with it.
his pick, like the thing that he posted for it. It's just that.
Well, what's funny is he posted it in general instead of posting it
Oh, the
to
draft
the
thing.
picks channel, saying when it gets to me, somebody pick me Bellybolt, and nobody took him seriously.
That's funny.
Yeah. But he went off from there into a Terra Rillaboom team, and so I
I
think this
already
is a
like
bit more
this
your
team.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about Rillaboom and how the team appreciates the bulky pivot and the grassy terrain?
I think the bulky pivot's actually pretty nice with the belly bolt. Like that's like swapping into the belly bolt from Rilla. You're
That extra
you're
recovery.
never getting a ground type swapping in on the Rillaboom, right? Like it's like you kind of always just give belly bolt a turn if
Mhm.
they then have to swap to a ground type. But
Yeah, and you could even stack spikes up too to make it more punishing.
yeah, yeah,
I
you
like
got
that idea. Like
Skarmory
with
with
two
ultimate
spikers.
hazards and
Yeah,
Petrifying
Skarmory,
Swells.
Spiker. Technically, I think even Diancie can spike if you need,
Well,
which I
and
think
just
is really
magic
not
items in
that bad.
general.
Yep, true. Yeah, just put them in the blender with Belly Bolt Rilla. You've got Petrarunt too to start blending them, and you've got Whirlwind.
My only thing with this team is besides the Antsy, who's your special attacker? Like Meg Mortar, but like a 4-point mon. And it's Meg Mortar.
Water Bubble Araquanid. Yeah, it's kind of bleak when it comes to special
I
attack.
mean, Arachnid is 50 base special attack.
Yeah, Water Bubble is just kind of OP though.
Yeah. But you still
Azumarill
probably
also
rather
has
be
50
doing a
base attack.
physical.
Yeah.
But it has huge power. Is Water Bubble the same bonus as huge power?
Water
I thought
Bubble
because I thought that
is
water bubble
maybe
just like increased the
1.5.
damage of the attack, whereas like huge power is like different math. It's
Yeah,
like
it
yeah,
does increase the damage of the attack, yeah.
yeah.
But I think increasing the damage of the attack and increasing the stat are effectively the same thing, if it's the same multiplier.
I think that like the difference is that huge power will be like you're changing the effective stat whenever you give it like EVs and in a I don't think choice band's impacted by it, but it's like I think the like proportionally it increases more, right? Because it's like you're taking that and then you're adding on the choice band, which I guess you're also doing that with water bubble. But I thought that
No, it's just a straight multiplier. The the way, and I found water bubble is 2x, by the way, not 1, so it's just
okay.
another multiplier. But like the thing is, if Azumarill doubles its attack from, let's just say an even number, from 100 to 200, the attack is, and you use Aqua Jet, that's 40 base power. You're using the Aqua Jet, like you get extra stats from the EVs, and then Aqua Jet is low base power, and it does its damage, right? If it's the other way around and it has water bubble, it has low attack, but then you're doubling the base power of the move that's using the attack anyways, right? So it's like still doubling the effectiveness of the EVs as well, and the IVs, and the nature.
Yeah, I just thought maybe like the EVs would be different, but I guess it wouldn't be. Because I mean the EVs are different. Like you're like I thought that multiplying the EVs just because like the damage calc would like be like if you're multiplying the stat more, then it like has more impact on like the power of the move than just multiplying the move itself. But I guess the damage calc probably just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think it's just the same. But regardless, that's why I think Mystic Water Araquanid is really strong, because you can run like mostly special with like liquidation for a Blissey kind of deal, or vice versa. You can just run like multiple water moves, right? With like liquidation Scald or something, and it's actually still pretty good. You don't really need your speed, so you can just dump speed and invest whatever you need into attack or special attack. And the water bubble just does the work for you.
Maz to put us in that chat. I'm assuming that that's like with the same stat, basically, like effectively the same stat.
Yeah, that's Banded Araquanid Liquidation versus, or sorry, Banded Water Bubble Liquidation versus Banded Huge Power
Yeah.
Liquidation.
Yeah, so it's exactly the same then.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is just that it's only for water type attacks. Like,
yeah. It's only for water, but it's for special attacks too, which is nice. You're right, like Araquanid isn't really a special attacker, but its special attack is technically only 20 lower than its attack, so
yeah. I actually didn't know its attack was that low either.
Yeah, it's only 70. It relies a lot on water, but water bubble is just really OP.
We should ban
we
Araquanid.
see. I do think the removal on this team is kind of bad. The removal is Skarm, which is like your main setter, and Hitmonlee, which is like not a remover. I struggle to count Hitmonlee as a spinner, just like I struggle to count like Halucha as a default. Right?
I mean, but you have magic.
It's like it's your unburdened mon. Yeah, you do have a magic bounce to kind of make it so you don't have to as much, but I don't think Magic Bounce Diancie is as reliable as Magic Bounce Mega Sableye, for example. Like, I think Sableye will be deterring more hazards than Diancie. Because it's less punishing if you get red and get attacked as Sableye. Right.
Especially when Diancie's your only special attacker.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I guess there is Plot Pecharunt.
That's true. That could be a special attacker.
The defense stat on this team is crazy, by the way. There's... I mean, Zygarde, Rilla, Petra, Skarm, and Bellibolt, I believe, have all higher defense. Maybe Bellibolt is even with its SPDF, I don't remember.
It's 9183.
91. But yeah, everything just has really high defense and like not great SPDF. We'll probably be seeing SPDF Bellibolt more than anything, and
well,
some sort of like mixed SPDF Pecharunt.
Electromorphosis Bellibolt charge also gives you a stage of special defense, so he does pretty consistently have a special defense.
Does it? I don't know if it does. I think the move charge gives you a special.
No, it gives you charge defense status. It definitely boosts your special defense. I've seen it with Bellibolt specifically. He becomes very hard to kill with special attacks
Use the
because
charge effect.
he goes second, and so like he always has the charge effect whenever he's using the parabolic charge too. So he like either heals
Interesting.
more from parabolic charge or he like doesn't use the charge and just has boosted special defense until he uses it.
See, the way that I thought it worked was the move charge gives you the SPDF boost and gives you the charge status.
No.
So I thought the charge status was
Showdown
separate
just
from.
started changing how they showed it to actually show it as a special defense boost instead of just charge, or like they would
Really?
include the special defense boost. So maybe you would see something use charge and you'd see charge and special defense, but I think it just used to like not show the special defense, and now it does. But charge as an effect boosts your special defense by 1 stage while it's active. Obviously, you can't stack it though. You can't keep using charge and keep increasing your special defense either.
See, chat seems to disagree. I think Vibe is. Oh fuck, who is that?
Is it?
I forget. I'm sorry. I know it's Vivian. I just forget who that is. I think it's Bun, maybe Bunhara. Okay, let me look here. I'm on Bulbapedia. The user's next move is an electric type attack. Its power is doubled. Charge now also raises the user's special defense stat by 1 stage. Charge. This is Gen 4 to Gen 8.
That's when that effect was added.
Yes. Multiple instances of the charge effect, using charge multiple times while the user's ability is normalized, or using charge followed by an activation of electromorphosis are not cumulative. The next electric will only deal twice as much damage. No instances of the effect linger. Doesn't say anything. It says the move charge increases SPDF and damage.
Yeah, and
but when you use charge, it says +1 SPDF charge.
Yeah, and then when you use an electric move, the SPDF goes away. You don't keep the SPDF boost. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's tied to charge. As the charge status, you have boosted SPDF. That's why I don't know what people are saying in the chat with that. When you are charged, your SPDF is boosted by 1 stage. When you have the charge effect.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know it worked like that. So yeah, that's all. That's all good. We can move on from that and let chat duke it out about whether that actually happens and come to us with some evidence. I'm open-minded and willing to believe you. If I had to guess, I wouldn't say that it did that, but maybe it does. Let's get some.
I'm just wondering if people are reading the description for electromorphosis or if they're reading the description for charged.
I'm reading the description for charge.
Yeah. And electromorphosis just says it becomes charged, and the effect of being charged increases your SPDF by a stage.
Yeah, it becomes charged, boosting. Well, it doesn't say that it gets SPDF on Bulbapedia. When a Pokemon with this ability is hit by a move, it becomes charged, boosting the power of the next electric move it uses.
Is becoming charged including the SPDF boost?
Yeah. I don't think so, but it might, and I'm sure somebody can dig that info up for me. So what did the community say about Jordan's team, by the way? It's lower than I thought. I would have thought this team was better than, at least probably better than Afonso's. Oh, it is rated slightly better than Afonso's. Personally, I gave Jordan an 8. I think it's a pretty cool team, but based on the things I mentioned, like not having, or I think you mentioned, right, not really having special attackers, not really having special defense either. and the hazard removers being like kind of fake removers. Skarm is gonna just have to be defog every week, which feels pretty bad for Skarm. But everything offensively about the team, I think, is very strong. I think Rillaboom Bellybolt is a really good captain combo. Your speed tiers are pretty good with Weavile, Diancie. You even have Webs as an option, and you have Prio from Zygarde, Weavile, Rilla, and you have an Unburden user. Like, there's actually a lot going on for it there. I was gonna rate the team a 9, but after I saw its kind of special profile, I took it down a notch for pretty much that reason and the defog reason. But otherwise, I think this is one of the better Jortson comps that I've seen, and this is with a round 1 Belly Bolt too. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give
especially
Jortson
if you're
a hand.
stacking hazards, you don't want defog to be your only
Yeah,
answer.
and if you have better hazard stacking than your opponent, you might not need to remove. You might be okay with letting them defog for you because you've got Pecharunt to spin block for Skarm. So they won't even be like spinning. If they remove, it'll be a symmetrical effect. So you'll at least go back to even if they defog. So yeah, I think the team is really strong. Oh, I didn't mention, sorry, the community rated it a 7.0, like on the nose 7.
Were there any outliers?
There was 1 4.
I tabbed out of the
but
poll.
But there were 4 9s.
15 tabs open now.
There were 4 9s, and
this is actually a pretty widespread.
5 7s. Very widely spread. Very like there were 3 5s and 2 6s, and so it was really like all over the spectrum.
That's
mostly
exactly
7 and 9s.
With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different. It's because there were 7 different numbers that got voted for.
Mm. Do you have any other thoughts about a monkey team?
My other thoughts are that I'm wondering now how charge works if you use it multiple times in a row, if it fails. Or if you
according to Bulbapedia,
gaining Spit F.
According to Bulbapedia, the charge effect doesn't stack, but I think you can use the move charge multiple times and get more Spit F.
I feel like I've never seen a charge mon get more than 1 Spit F from it, though. And I thought it lost the Spit F when it used the charge.
It honestly might, because I think it works kind of the same with like Skull Bash, right? Don't you get the defense boost just for the turn that you're charging?
I think so.
Not that anybody uses friggin' Skull Bash anyways, but...
Squirtle uses Skull Bash.
Yeah.
When it's like the 4th move that it can feasibly have.
Mm-hmm. Well, Corey said that he tested it on Showdown, and it does not get a boost from Electromorphosis. Which, honestly, if it did, that might be kind of broken.
Well, maybe the tankiness just comes from the fact that the Parabolic Charge heals you so much more with the charge.
Yeah, regardless, good to get to clear the air on that.
We got people in the lab working on it.
Yep, thank you, Corey, our draft scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah, good team from Jortson.
Well, so I changed my opinion about the round 1 Belly Bowl now. I think that Poké might have been wrong.
You think it sucks now? Yeah.
Yeah. He probably shouldn't have.
I think I agree.
Shouldn't have drafted it first. That's a mistake on Pokémon's part. I think he thought it worked the way that I did when he suggested it.
I think I agree.
Yeah, go tell him that, Jortson. Tell him that he was wrong about Electromorphosis.
Yeah, he said that about Electromorphosis.
Yeah, I mean, why else would you pick round 1?
He must have been implying that by telling you to pick it round 1.
He's a busy guy. He can't explain the whole thing. Like, just answering one question. Like, what? It was probably like a $10 super chat. Like, come on, that's like pennies. Like, true. You get a couple words. That's it. Speaking of which, super chats. Let's get some of those in the chat.
Yeah, true. I don't think we're even like
post an ability and we'll explain how it works.
I don't think we can even get money, can we, on this channel?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's
verified or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whatever. We can move on now to Camel Convention, who's now in his 2nd bout in the division. And this team seems to...
This is going to be a long name.
I think it's one of the highest rated... I think it's one of the highest rated teams that we have. I don't know about the whole league, but definitely in the division.
There you go.
And the votes for it are pretty unanimously like it's all 7 and above, and it has 5 9s
Oh
and
my
even 5
god.
10s.
Wait, yeah, that's
The the ratings here are really high. Um, Overall, the
yeah,
average rating
that is
between the 18
incredibly
votes
high.
is 8.61, which is an entire grade point, exactly a whole grade point above Gensuzu's was already a really good roster. And
Yeah,
I
I mean
tend to
this
agree.
literally has
I
like nothing dragging it down, so like it is just sitting up at
There's
the
not
high
really any
point.
dead weight. Yeah, obviously Terra Chargebug is kind of troll, but
Well,
like
I meant
you just
on
Terra
the
it
poll. There was
because
something
oh
dragging it
okay,
down.
yeah. Also on the team,
Yeah.
the like Chargebug is whatever. It's just a Chargebug. You just have a webs threat. It's honestly not too bad. Just like max defense with an Eviolite, it can actually take a lot of hits and like paralyze things and set webs. Pretty good. The star Terra is obviously going to be Sarah Ledge here, which has proven itself to be just hands down one of
It's yeah.
their
I thought
captains
it was gonna get
in the league.
banned.
Yeah,
But I guess
it was
if you're like
probably primed to
unbanning
get
Booster
banned.
Energy Iron Valiant, you're probably more lenient on bans.
Yeah, we didn't ban many Terra captains. I'm actually not sure if we banned any at all.
Is Excadrill
But
banned?
Sarah Ledge did increase in points. I think it was like 12 or 13 last season, and we
Yeah,
upped it
that's fair.
to more accurately reflect that it's just one of the better captains. It is not troll. I think
He
you
says
mean
not
about
troll.
Chargebug. My
No,
bust
I
from
don't think
last
it's
season had
troll.
better KD than
I don't
Terra
think it's troll. So
Jolly.
it's got Charja in the name, which means I think it always has a Spidef
A
boost, right?
Spidef boost, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
with
like
you.
pair that with Eviolite, and I mean you're in
hmm
good shape.
Um, for the rest of his actual team, I know that Camel is really known in the PWC for running Torn T and Venusaur. I think he actually likes Mega Venusaur, but Torn kind of accidentally became something that he was known for because he just kept using it. If I remember
It's your
correctly, I don't
favorite
know.
mon, so
True, I love Torn
you would
T.
know.
Smile, smiley face. This is one of the best rosters in the league. You said, yeah. I tend to agree. I do
The
think,
poll tends to agree
um,
as well.
yeah, the poll really agrees too. I do think that it's, at least in my experience with Quack, I think Quack is kind of a fake spinner because it's not really like it kind of has like Keldeo bulk where
Yeah.
it's you don't really want to rely on it as a water type defensively, but it's also a fighting type which is just bad defensively except against like specifically
Well,
dark.
dark. I like it. Yeah, I like it being a dark resist
Yeah,
and
so
not
it's just not
spam.
gonna. I agree. But you've got Tinglu already and Chiyu. I don't think you like really
That's true.
needed it and
You
Tinkaton.
do have dark resist.
Yeah. For the Latias, but I don't. Obviously, you're not drafting Quack to like be a dark resist. You're using it as like an offensive water type that
Just
can
like
win
a
games and
bonus.
can spin and pivot.
Well, it's also
Uh,
nice that it has another stab that's like pretty strong.
yeah, for sure. You just use it as like a close combat stab.
Yeah.
The difference I think between like Quack and Keldeo as the only water types on teams that I see teams do a lot is I mean obviously the speed tier, but Quack doesn't want to switch in on Scalds like Keldeo can. So I think it's just worse than Keldeo
Yeah.
in a lot of cases where you don't just need the physical attacker. But honestly, the team just kind of needs the physical attacker. So I
Yeah.
like the Quack here. It can spin if you really need it to. Um, it can take over
Quack
games.
also always has like it has its speed tier, but it's also like unlike a regular spinner, it's like there are so many instances where you just kind of have to account for Quack having a +1 speed boost because of the spin
Yeah.
and Aqua Step. That it's like
Yep.
I like it as a spinner for that reason too, because you like really have to like respect the speed that it gets from it.
Yep.
And so you
I
can
think
build to plan around it. You can plan like
yeah.
whereas like if you had like treads or something or Excadrill, where it's like you could say like, hey, in theory I sweep this team if I have my +1 from rapid spin before I do this, right? But then sometimes you just don't get that. Like it just doesn't happen. Or like the ghost type comes in, the spin blocker comes in. But with Quack, it's like you can actually plan an offensive win condition with Quack like around the +1 speed boost, and not just have to be like, well, I hope something comes up where I get a rapid spin, or even just like you don't have to waste the move, like waste the turn using rapid spin for like a tiny bit of chip damage, because you still get the +1 speed from like an actual stab move that has a base power worth using, you know. So I like that about it being a spinner. It's that it's like you can have that like the pocket effect of it being at +1 just from like being your spinner, but also like actually playing around it and not get screwed because like the things didn't line up perfectly. But it's also
Yeah.
it's not the only hazard control on the team either, too, right? Because you have your like defog, Latios.
Yeah, you've got Torn and
Yeah,
Latias.
Torn.
It's not like removal is a problem here.
Yeah,
But
and you have
just
your
like on
grounded
Jortson's
poison.
team, you've got an amazing hazard set that you don't want to have to be
Yeah,
defogging, right?
defog is
You
really
would
good.
rather be spinning.
Yeah,
It's not the end
and
of the world.
And
Something
especially
though to consider.
when rocks are kind of an issue if you don't have if you're not running. I mean, you're running boots on Torn probably 90% of the time.
Yeah, usually. But like
But like
Venusaur
Chi-Yu,
gets worn down,
yeah,
Chi-Yu gets worn down
Venusaur,
without boots, same as Saralage. You're right. Rocks are kind of an issue, and it feels bad that with Tinglu, you're gonna be looking to defog more often than you probably
yeah,
want to. But it's not a big deal. Honestly, I think the team is still okay to just
yeah,
trade rocks and be good with it, because even back to Quack, like I think Quack is a very good
the Quack.
like user of, like, I know it doesn't literally use stealth rock, but like user of the chip damage, right? Because as soon as it gets its first Moxie boost, it's off to the races. And if you can play a chippy game with like Ruination Tinglu, like knockoff U-turn Torn and Mega Venusaur, um, and like just kind of chipping things with like Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed kind of deal, I think Quack will find it has a lot of opportunities to get a boost.
I deleted Azzy's message in the chat. I had to moderate it a little bit there.
Okay, any more thoughts before we move on? I know we didn't really talk about Latias. Feels kind of superfluous here, where like
A little bit.
it's nice to have the speed tier,
I mean,
but it's
I
not like the
like that
Latios.
it's a good. You got a lot of good like fighting type answers for these two dark types at the top. Like you got two resists
Mhm.
here.
Yeah, yeah. Torn
Might
Latias,
actually
Venu.
be a little bit worried about a fighting type with like knock though, which a lot of them have, because that actually kind of creates some awkward situations. I guess Venusaur deals
Yeah,
with them.
yeah. I think the team just has the raw bulk overall, and
Yeah,
even the damage overall to just deal with things like that.
yeah, yeah. Venusaur actually does answer that because like he'll resist the fighting and also not care about knock.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think the
but
team just
it
covers
might
all
end
the
up with some
spaces.
like questionable situations where you kind of have to like make a prediction and be like, "Oops, my Latias got one shot because I thought he was
Mhm.
going to use the fighting type move." And same with like your ghost type as well, but it's a Terra Captain, so it's whatever.
Yeah,
I like the team overall. I think this
yeah.
is the
Very
kind of team where
strong.
it's like you can poke a hole in a lot of teams, like things that they're technically missing. But I think that this team is like very flexible and it has like a lot of things that you want. Like it can be super offense with the Chi-Yu, just like blowing holes in teams, but it can also be like a really annoying defensive pivot team, just like swapping
Yeah.
around, like winning by wearing things down, and then just like sweeping up with Terra Ledge too. Like I see why people voted it very high, and I would agree with that.
Hmm. I do think, to your point of like being a defensive pivot team, it it actually doesn't really pivot. Like, unless we count Baton Pass Latias, which I'm not really counting, the
I guess
pivots are
I guess it's
Torn
less.
and
Yeah,
Quack.
pivot's probably the wrong word. I'm thinking just like you're just swapping around defense, like kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's
making
okay.
people answer you.
Yeah, I think that that could be kind of abused though, with like if somebody just has like, okay, the team, this is gonna sound so backwards, but the team has so many good and safe options for switches that I think some like a way that opponents could abuse the like how fleshed out the team is they can say, like, I think Camel's lines aren't going to be predictable, but the fact that he's switching is going to be predictable,
Yeah,
right? So you can catch a switch,
set
I think,
up
pretty
or
easily with a
something.
nasty plot, with a sword stance, with
Yeah,
like, I don't know, some sort of setup. Like even a CM, I think goes a long way against this team.
But I think that's where Mon's like
And
Chi
it could be
Yu come
pretty
into play too,
dangerous.
though, where it's like, how many times are you going to take the risk in front of a Chi Yu?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're
Especially
right.
if it's like maybe you sack him on to that setup, but then it's like you still have ways to answer setup. I'm sure there are like,
Yeah, you probably won't
things that
lose
tank at
off the
least a
back of
hit.
that.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
like then once you know that that's the setup mon, it's like, okay, well then the next time it's in, is it clicking the move or not? And then like
yeah,
it not always a great position to be in, but like you build your team around that. I like that it can do that though, and I like that it has like it's the kind of backbone that like even if you're manually swapping every time, it's like there's gonna be some teams that just have a really hard time answering that anyway. And whether that
yeah.
means you bring in the Venusaur and then they have to come in on a leech seed every time if they don't have a
Yep.
good leech seed answer or whatever it might be. Um, that's what I found because I I've run Mega Venusaur many times. Um, I've ended up with teams like that where it's like I it's not so much of like defensive pivoting, but it is just like a lot of hard swapping. But I win the game on bringing the Venusaur in, making it so that like you don't want to come in on the leech seed because then suddenly my hard swaps like aren't getting beat because it's like the mon comes in with lefties and leech seed getting it back to full and like whatever you use, like I'm not really losing any progress here, but you might be if I have like rocks up or something, right? So that's I mean that's just one way that I could see it working out. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I like the team.
Mazda says, thing is, a lot of these mons also just have the option of swinging if setup could be an issue. Like, even the defensive mons demand their own level of respect and calc. I agree, but what I'm more thinking of is something along the lines of, I mean, what's an example? If I have, like, my Alakazam in front of Mega Venusaur, there's so, like, the safe options are just there to switch into Zam,
Yeah.
right? Like you can go into the Tinglu, but then if it like plots and it's Life Orb Focus Blast and it just kills your Tinglu, you're kind of crying, right? Like
Well,
you're
it's gonna
you're feeling
miss,
pretty
so I
bad.
think you're fine.
It will miss, you're right. But it's just that level of like
Yeah.
because Camel has like theoretically safe switches a lot of the time. Um it's just something to watch out for. Is it a problem? No. It's and like I would never call a defensively sound team that doesn't struggle with offense like that it has a massive hole or something. It's just I think if Camel's gonna lose a game, it'll be through people making predictions.
Yeah. You better be good at predicting them,
Yeah, true.
which I think he
And
is.
now to his own credit, I don't think that like I do think that Camel has like the gonads to like make up a call on that, or at the very least the intellect to or the foresight rather to like be prepped for that and have like a Chople Tinglu for that scenario, right? Or instead of going Tinglu that would lose if it was nasty plotted on, you go like T-Wave Tink or something in that case, right? It's just
Yeah.
you have to have a lot of foresight to like make sure that doesn't happen, I think. Almost too perfect in a sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've been yapping about this team for a
I was gonna
while.
say
We've
let's
done
move on
4 teams, and it's been about an hour since we started doing reviews. So, yeah, 8.61 was the overall rating for Camel, and definitely the highest by far. And we'll see if anything can top that.
I doubt it. So next up we have Zap, who does not top that. Zap got an average of 6.83, and that's a
Yeah,
pretty. I mean, there's still a lot of sevens, eights. There's 1.9, but like it looks like there's a lot more in like the 5 to 6 range that brings it down
yeah.
compared to
You
other
know what
teams.
though? This to me is one of my favorite Zap teams that I've seen. Just like very similar to Jortson, I think Zap was fairly responsible with his draft this time around. Except for one in particular. I don't know. Somebody recommended that he pick Cobalion. I don't know who the hell did that, and whoever did that, you should be fired from
Whoa.
being an amateur Pokemon player.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I really don't see the value in it. I think the team looked like really solid, down to the Reuniclus pick, and then honestly, even Scyther and Smeargle are okay. I just don't really see the value in here at all. Um, I mean, what could it really have used? I guess the Dark Resist is nice for Necrozma. It has
But you also have
Necrozma and
Moon.
Reuniclus, though. It is Terra Reuniclus. I do think Terra Reun is very strong. I don't really
So I said
see
Moon. I don't
why.
know if you were responding to that.
Oh, Moon? I thought you said
Yeah.
Reun.
I
Yeah,
noticed that. I was like, I wasn't sure if you're going into something else, or I was like, no, I think it just thinks I said Ryun.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Moon
I
is also a dark resist at least,
I don't
but
really
not
see why
defensively.
Reuniclus and Necrozma are on the same team, and I know that Terra Reuniclus is
Yeah,
very different from non-Terra Reuniclus, and could even just be like the permanently the fairy type on the team, because that's one of my problems is there is no fairy
it
type.
is missing a fairy.
Yeah, just like Terra Fairy like Regenerator, I feel like is completely fine and valid.
Yeah, there's your dark resist.
But overall, you're not lacking anything.
I
Very
can see why
flexible
the opinions are
Necrozma.
kind of like split on it though, where it's like it's depending
Yeah,
on how
yeah.
much you're looking into like what some of like what the Terra Reuniclus can be, what it's actually missing.
Hmm.
Because like on paper, you look at the spread, it's like not very good, but yeah,
Yeah,
there's definitely
and
like room to make it work.
Zap is the kind of player to look and care more about like offensive profile and whether he has like a scarfable like breaker or like a dragon dance setter.
Garm,
Yeah,
Moon,
exactly. Well, Garm and Moon exactly, and like
Necrozma,
Necrozma is very flexible setup.
and then
WinCon,
Melm's just a
Melmetal is
big
a
hit
WinCon,
button.
Reuniclus is a WinCon. Like, there's so many
And you
ways to
do get the trick
win.
room with the Reuniclus as well for Melm.
Yeah. I personally would have given it like a 7.5, but I erred on the better end because I think it's I wanted to reward Zap for for drafting a little bit more responsibly.
Yeah,
Now I
it
say
is very
responsibly,
like
but
top heavy with the offense too. Like
yeah, I say responsibly, but like seeing no fairy, one removal, your rocker is a steel type that should never come to a game kind of deal is
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really count Smeargle as a
Oh,
rocker.
is that the only rocker? Besides Smeargle.
Man, is there no ground type too? I didn't notice there was no ground, and
There's no ground.
there's no friggin' grounded poison too. I take my 8 back.
They
I'm
could
sorry,
all
Zap.
be Reuniclus
I
at
take it
once.
back, Zap. I would give him a 7 instead of an 8.
What, you don't like two
I do
psychic
still
types,
think it's
two steel
progress for him.
types? That's the only duplicates. But
No. Oh well. It was a good try, Zap.
all right. We'll keep moving along.
Yeah.
All right. We got Rice.
Dicey Rice.
Dicey Rice, who had an average of 6.28.
Much lower
poll.
than lower than even Zap's.
This is really spread. We have a 10. We also have 2 3s.
Yeah, wow. There are 5 votes that are 5 and below. 1 vote that's a 10, and otherwise it's very bell curved around 7. I think the votes make sense. I personally gave it a 6. I think it was one of my lower teams for the division.
It's a full
It
roster.
feels to me like just based on the eye test, it feels too spread out. Like I'm looking at what is that? 8 Pokemon? I don't know, 9 Pokemon between the points of 13
Holy
and 8.
shit, yeah, wait. You have Darkrai, and then everything's mid-tier or lower.
Yeah.
I mean, worth
so
it
I
for
think
the 2 points of
the team,
Mischievous, right?
I think Mischievous is good, but like I don't know. I think the captains are pretty good. I think Terra Moltres
Yeah, I
is
actually like
a
this.
little one note for me because it's usually just going to be Terrifier up, just like Spec Scoper kind of thing. It's fine. Mega Altaria, fine, very customizable sweeper. Nidoqueen is good, but like, dude, Nidoqueen being the second most expensive Pokemon on your roster, behind Darkrai, which already is on Frostwatch, is just a little
Hey, yeah, whoa, he can Mega now.
ambitious for me. True. Now, I like Darkrai. I'm a Darkrai believer, and there's a lot of pivots to bring Darkrai in, right? Like Moltres, Starmie, Mienshao, Rotom, technically Baton Pass Dansey. You can't bring them all to a game. You can't bring all
I
6
got
of
bad
those to a game.
news. The first game was -5 diff, so maybe Maybe he is a fraud.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Now, I think there's like, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of good like mid-tier Gloomons here. I think Dicey
This is
Rice was
some
just
shit
a
I
little
draft in
too
2022.
late. True. I think they were just a little too late to pull the trigger on high tiers and got stuck
Yeah.
filling holes that are only holes because they didn't get things that did multiple things early on.
Yeah, this seems like things where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this like nice value 13 point, 12 point. Because like Mega Altaria, like 12 point, but also like still usually a popular pick. For people to pick up. Same with Moltres, where it's like you end up in this the classic situation of like, oh shit, I waited too long to get Moltres and somebody drafted it. I hope I get Talonflame. Oh, somebody drafted Talonflame the next turn because
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
also waiting for Moltres. So like I can see
yeah,
the vision of like grabbing some of these mons early. But yeah, no, you're right. It's like you get to them, it's like, cool, well now the top tiers that are available like don't fill the roles that you need.
yeah.
But or it's like you end up with Rotom because you needed an electric and a grass type.
Yeah, and I
it's like,
mean, at what
cool.
point do you just say maybe I should have gotten Rotom Wash over
Yeah,
like
exactly. That's what,
some
like
Rotom
yeah,
you
is this
know?
the
Yeah.
only Rotom left, or is it just because you wanted the grass and
hmm
electric? But
Yeah. So it's definitely a unique drafting style. I'm not gonna hate on it until I see it in action because
you've seen it in
I
action.
mean, even
You
like
can hate
as
on
he's true. Well, I have.
it.
I forgot. But even like as he's saying in chat, Sweet Sorrows, he's saying like this is something that he would draft like a few years ago
Yeah.
because he was just big on like high versatility
Yeah.
team
And
comps,
making
which I
sure
think is completely
the
valid.
the type chart looked good.
Yeah, true. But this definitely does just feel like a type chart team
Yeah.
for sure.
A type chart team, and then like a I remember Starmie has rapid spin from when I played Diamond and Pearl years ago. And she's like, oh yeah, I got my
Yeah, oh, yeah,
spinner.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, Moltres, he's pretty sick, right? He's a legendary from way back in the day, right? Yeah, he's got to be sick. Darkrai,
Yeah,
dude, he's
and it's not even
badass.
like
Trust me, like, dude, nobody can beat
true.
Darkrai. Like, it is kind of like one of those teams, just like for sure. Which
Pick
is
your
funny
faves
because
from
you
the
know
old
that
game.
Rice knows how to draft and like knows how to play the game, but it is kind of funny. Like, look at it and be like,
Yeah,
this is like somebody's first draft team.
yeah. Well, I mean, they just got promoted from Hustle last
Yeah.
season. In the season where they drafted Mono Unova.
Wait a minute. You know what I just
Remember that?
realized? This team
What's
does
that?
not have anything post Gen 5, unless you count Mega Altaria.
Diancie.
Oh, dancing. So I guess anything post Gen 6.
Yeah, you're right. Which is maybe why I think it looks bad.
Yeah, because it doesn't meet
This
any
is
of the power creep. The only thing that's
this
even
is like a
remotely close to
perfectly
the power creep is the
serviceable Gen
legendaries and
6
the Mega.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Draft this in Oras and you're looking a bit better than
Yeah.
I mean, if you have Oras Darkrai, you're in a good spot.
GG. All right, we'll keep it moving though. We said our
Yep.
piece. And remember,
Yep.
if your feelings get hurt, the audience picked that. The audience gave you a couple of threes. That's why. We're
Yep.
just agreeing.
Agreed.
All right, next up we got Bios.
Mm-hmm. And
This
the
one-
community gave him a 6.22, which is slightly lower than Dicey Rice's.
Yeah, but also skewed by a
hmm.
1 and 2 2s.
Oh, true.
Which I don't know if they're genuine or not. Or it could just be the boys having a little chuckle.
True. Maybe it was Zap saying, haha, loser.
Who knows?
The thing is, I kind of don't disagree with the rating because I gave it a 6 as well. I think the team needs Zeraora to pull. Well, I think it needs Zera to pull a lot of work here. Like it's a team full of a bunch of like passive pivot mons, right? With Corviknight, Screamtail, P2 as the main like backbone of the team, which are all for the most part pretty passive. I know that they can run like setup, except for I guess Curse P2 isn't really that real, but it's like technically there. It can be download, I guess, to have a little bit more offense, but like for the most part, like the core of the team is very passive. I think Terragengar
Garchomp and
is
Terragengar are pretty offensive.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So Chomp and Zera, I think I have to pull a lot of the weight. Terragengar, is, I think, good as a cleaner, like a Scarf, like Terra Stab or Terra Fighting cleaner. I struggle to believe that. I don't know. I think I'm honestly just not a Gengar truther in Gen 9. I think it's very fine,
Yeah.
but I think there are better things to do.
I mean, like 110 speed
And
is good, but it's like it's not
it's
what
not
you
really
need
the
for.
benchmark that it used to be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. I've seen it when
And
like
also the
fighting
second
Gengar too. It's
captain.
like it's like you realize at a certain point, it's like, wow, this is way less threatening than I thought it was. It's just outspeed
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah. And Terra Beheeyem, like, obviously is just kind of a shitter Terra that you just get to
yeah,
pair with
it's
Gengar.
nice.
But like, is Gengar worth
But wait,
being the solo Terra captain in
it's the
order to
shitter
pair
to
it
pair
with a
with
shitter?
Gengar,
Like,
but it's only you're only using 16 Terra points. So you got to wonder if like
yeah, I mean that just
maybe
comes down
these
to
could have been
it. Was
rearranged.
there that comes down to was there a 6 pointer that you could have
Yeah,
Terra'd that's better than getting Decidueye Hisui, which I'm not much of a Decidueye Hisui enjoyer personally.
yeah. It is
I'm a
the
big
only grass
Makalola
type.
enjoyer.
It's the only grass type and a defogger, I guess.
I mean, I'm
Which
pretty
you
sure that
had already.
even like what's it called, Bramblegast, I think is around there, right? Like 5. You could be
Around
like
five,
Terra
yeah.
Bramblegast. I feel
I
like
mean,
is
my
pretty strong.
Bramble Gas usually goes pretty quick for the 5 pointers
Yeah,
or whatever that range
yeah,
is, so he might not still be on the board. But I think like
yeah.
if I were looking at that, I would think like how can we make this into a 6 pointer and a 1 pointer that or wait no maybe a 6 pointer and a 3 pointer, and then you make your 6 pointer the Terra Captain, or you do a 4 pointer and a 4 pointer and make the 4 pointer the other Terra. Like there's you have a lot of flexibility with these points. That I don't think it had to be this. Like.
Yeah. I
And
still
there's
do
a
think
leftover
overall
point. There could be a 3 pointer out there that right now you could just change it to.
leftover point. Oh my. I do think overall, like, it still has the tools to win. I don't think the team is bad. Even
Yeah.
like Rice's team that I also rated a 6, I don't think is bad. Like, it definitely. I don't think it sets itself up for success as much as some of the other like strong teams do. Is my only gripe. You've got to get pretty
Yeah.
creative here.
Yeah. And you might end up with some like 4 move slot syndrome, trying to like figure out which coverage moves to run on your like 3 offensive mons that need to be able to clean up a team and be like, well, I hope this isn't a 2-hit KO. You know, on like this one calc that if I'm wrong, then I lose one of my offensive mons. You know.
Yeah.
Especially when one of those coverage moves outside of the Terra would be like Focus Blast. But I guess when you do have this set up and your second Terra isn't really a real Terra, if you're ever planning on running Terra fighting Gengar, you can run Terra fighting. I mean, you can run Terra Blast like 100% of the time because you know that you can just Terra.
Yep. True.
But I mean, you do lose your Ghost type, but I'm sure there's
Which is
many
relevant,
times.
but it's not the end of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so I mean TLDR, I think the like main backbone's just a little passive. I think the offense is can be a little matchup fishy. Like if the opponent doesn't have a strong ground, then like Zera can win. Otherwise, kind of meh. And
Makes
not a
sense to
Terra
me.
Gengar believer. Yep.
All right. Next up, we got
Onwards.
Shoshin.
Which is rated in the same ballpark actually as Bios and Dicey Rice at a 6.33, slightly above both.
Yeah, and there's no like 1s or 2s, but there are 3 4s.
Yes.
So there's like a little more in that middle range.
Yeah, it's all confined between 4s and 8s, and there's a lot of 6s, 6 all the way up to 8. There's a lot of them. Then just brought down a little by the 4s.
Yeah. I'm guessing that extra was Terraband if he's down to 15 points.
It is Terraband, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, surely.
I was like
Terra
pretty sure, but then you
Hydrapple
said you
was
weren't sure if anything was banned. I was like, extra Joe.
Yeah.
It's pretty broken.
I think that was
season.
banned. I think that was banned last season, wasn't it?
Or was it banned last season? I know that there was one season where it was like, really, he's unbanned, and he was just kind of broken. Yeah.
Terra Hydrapple was in the same boat as Ceruledge, where Ceruledge was just one of the better captains last season. People were really high on it, and I
For a
think
different reason,
Hydrapple,
but yeah.
same thing. Yeah, a very different reason, of course. But yeah, it's definitely, yeah. I mean, as he's saying in chat, it's definitely a beast for sure. My main gripe with this team, I, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Having your fastest mon on the team be a base 110 mon that can't run an
Mega.
item, Mega Gallade,
Yeah.
is not it for me. I love
Yeah,
the
that's pretty dumb.
snow with Slowking and Baxcalibur. I think it's really strong. I think Drill is completely fine to be just a ground type spinner, just like Iron Treads with Mold Breaker effectively. I think it's completely fine. And like the core between Gallade and Hydrapple, I think is good actually. And like does a lot of everything. Physical attack, special attack, has a Slowking as a pivot. It is a little weird to have two psychics with Gallade and Slowking. I think usually when you get Gallade, you try to avoid getting another psychic, unless you have good ghost resists. The ghost
What's
resists
really
are
the issue
Stantler and
though?
Skuntank.
What's really the issue though?
Really
Because
just the
Gallade's
ghost
not
and
weak
dark
to
resist.
dark.
It really just ghost and dark. And the thing is, your fairy type doesn't resist. Or no, it does resist dark. Never mind.
It does resist, and your
Yeah.
Gallade's not weak to dark. The only shared
No, like
weakness
I
would be the ghost.
sorry,
Which,
is my
I mean,
mic cutting out? I said ghost.
I thought it said ghost and dark.
I said usually you want to avoid getting two psychics because of ghost and dark,
Oh,
unless you have like a good dark type. But the ghost resist are just Stantler and Skuntank.
yeah.
And like I guess Terra
I think an
normal
Ambipom would have been
Hydrapple
better
or
on this
something.
team.
An Ambipom, true. Now,
Or
obviously, I'm
Bubblitude.
a Galley believer. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm an Enamorous believer though.
I thought you were like a
Um,
certified and amorous non-believer.
yeah,
Especially as
I
your only
like it.
fairy,
Well,
you
the thing
hate
is,
that shit. You always hate that.
exactly, it's like running Mega Mawile as your fairy, which I hate even more than
Yeah.
Enamorous. But
I think
people
that's
see
more
Enamorous as
warranted
typing,
to
and
be hated.
they assume that Enamorous can do what Togekiss does,
Right,
and like
yeah,
check ground
exactly. It just
types,
doesn't.
and it doesn't. Yeah,
I was gonna say the same thing. Like people see it, it's like, oh shit, like this is Togekiss. It's like it's not Togekiss.
yeah,
Don't take the bait. Um,
yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying. Where it's like Mega Gallade on its own, very good. Obviously a good mon. And
Hmm.
like this core's good, but it's like yeah, like it's almost like you started with a Mega Gallade team and then you like hard pivoted to another kind of team. And it's like this part would have been great with
Yeah.
like a different offensive mind. And it's like it doesn't make Mega Gallade worse. Like nothing on this team like makes him worse. But it just like
Nope.
would you have rather had a different offensive mon with a higher non-static base speed? You know? And you
Yeah.
would probably say yes, but like it's your round one pick, it's your 19 pointer. It's like you kind of have to commit to it, even if the rest of your plan changes. And it's hard to
Yeah.
find something on the board that effectively replaces him. So now I will say that like there are some mons that are priced in ways where it's like it's high enough that it's not too cheap when you combine it with something else, but it's still lower than if that something else were built in. And I think that Slowking and Baxcalibur is an example of that, where it's like Baxcalibur is worth probably 19 points when you have Slowking on your team or Glowking on your team. Like when you
Yeah.
have your Snowsetter on your team, Baxcalibur becomes worth more.
Yes.
Is there room to say you're not going to get another 19 pointer that does what Mega Gallade wants because there's not going to be something available, I'm assuming. But maybe bump this up a little bit and downgrade to like a solid 17 or 18 pointer. And then you're not losing that top end power because you still have like a really strong core that makes these mons valued higher. But then you just have something else that like fills the other need that you have. I'm not saying that that's even necessary. Like this team is perfectly serviceable without that. But it's like if you're in that position, like, well, I don't want to waste the 19 point round one pick that I made to like downgrade to a 17 pointer. Consider that when you made this pick, you also didn't know whether or not you would get this combo, or like you didn't know what the rest of the team was going to look like. And I think that you can look at the rest of the team and be confident that be like, hey, it's not really that bad to downgrade the 19 pointer if you decide that you need something in the 17 18 point tier that just solves this need a little bit better of the speed, and then you get some free points down here to work with as well. So
Yeah. What's weird to me though is look at the pick order from Shoshin. It went first overall.
Oh, it is.
Sorry,
It
eighth
wasn't Mega
overall
Gallade
technically.
first.
No, it was Hydrapple into Slowking, and then they didn't
So you
even
already had
wheel
the
back.
Slowking. Yeah, you could have.
Yeah, the wheel
Well, this
was
isn't the
sorry,
wheel.
yeah.
This is the
The
middle
wheel
of the
was
track.
Hydrapple. Oh yeah, it's not even the wheel. Wow. So it
Yeah,
was just Hydrapple, Slowking. I think
that
that's a
is
good
weird that
regen
you
core.
wouldn't take backs after that though. With him on the board.
I probably would have gone like Hydrapple Gallade to see if backs made it back. Or no. I keep forgetting this isn't wheel. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, now that I'm looking at the order,
Yeah,
that does change
it's a
things.
little odd. Yeah, the draft
You
order
like
feels a little odd
specifically
here. I
wedge the
think
Mega Gallade between them.
something else I really don't like is that Drill is not only the only hazard setter on the team. Okay, Skuntank has T-Spikes if we want to get pedantic, but it's the only rocker on the
I
team.
guess it is, yeah.
And it's the only remover, again, not counting that mon is out.
Yeah, I wouldn't count
Like, if you're actually bringing Skuntank reliably on this team for, like, T-Spikes and Defog, I'm pretty sure it gets T-Spikes, I don't remember, but...
I think it does.
Like, sure, that's completely serviceable.
It also
but
gets
then you're
belch.
not bringing, like, an Amorous thing. True, okay. Then you're not, like, bringing an Amorous or something, and, I don't know, the team isn't defensively sound enough, in my opinion, to, like, warrant that.
Yeah.
And it's just coupled with, but then you're kind of pressured into bringing it anyways because resist, and then it's like, do I bring a ghost resist or do I just tear a Hydrapple?
Here's the thing though that I would say is that unlike some of the other teams, Excadrill is a mon that is bringable every game, rapid spin every game. You can do that. I think there is very limited drawbacks to this mon coming to every single game and running rapid spin every single game. I think of it like Treads or Tusk in that sense, where it's not the same as your only hazard removal above 10 points is Corviknight. Where it's like,
right.
First of all, Defog has drawbacks, and also like you might need to run Iron Defense, Body Press, Roost, and now decide between having Flying Stab or Defog or U-turn, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's
usually Drill
a little bit different.
Uses the speed boost, right? Offensively,
right? Yeah, so. So I think that
like
if you're gonna have one hazard removal, I think having it be a spinner and having it be Excadrill, probably minimal damage in that sense.
Yeah, you're right.
But still worth noting, like if there's a team that can exploit that. So. Especially when
I do think though Drill,
weak to rocks,
in my opinion,
weak to rocks.
Arcanine. In my opinion, though, Drill is like the opposite of Bax, where like Bax isn't really tiered to be a Weathermon, but it likes the weather.
Yeah.
Drill is definitely tiered as though you have Tyranitar, and it's the Tyranitar that's like.
Is it though?
They're both
I feel
kind
like
of like slightly.
When Excadrill was
I
higher
think Drill is great.
Priced, I think 15's fair for Sandless Excadrill too. I think when it was 19 points or 18 points and Terra Legal, yeah, if you're not bringing Sand,
I think it was 17. Yeah, you're right.
Was it? I thought it was higher.
Definitely, like, I don't think it ever got higher than 17, but it was like one of the top mons. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one where it's like if you're getting it like and you're not running Sand, you're wasting it. I think 15 points. I would pay this price because what's Treads? Treads is 16.
I think it's 16. Yeah, I
think 1 point
like
less.
A 14 pointer.
Yeah,
you're right. It's not that much of a difference, honestly.
I think it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, though, yeah, we said 6.33, like kind of spread towards the middle. I like the team. I think it has synergies built in. I think the weaknesses that it has, like the very clear things that we always point out, like the speed tier thing and single remover, all that. I think for what they are, like they could be a lot worse. Like you could have a lot worse situations related to these things than Mega Gallade and Excadrill being the problem mons in that sense.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We've got Overmat.
This guy's still here.
And you can scroll on the
yeah, I gotta move to the other one.
The big thing too.
It's like it's not even a scroll. I have a separate thing.
Oh yeah, a separate
thing to jump to and then scroll down on this screen. So there we go. All right, so we got
Overmat here with the Overmat Classic. Although he's got one mon in here that is kind of a Naheimamon, and I feel like Matt.
Megachomp.
Okay, how do I put this? So Megatron was a Naheimamon, and it slowly became a Matmon because I kept telling him that it was good.
We stole it from you.
Yeah. So the Naheimamon here is Clef. Actually, I'm a big Clef fan.
Hey, I'm a big Clef fan. You can't take Clef from me.
True.
Plus,
And
actually,
Matt is
always
he's always said, oh, like I would prefer Sylveon, or back in the day he would go Aromatisse or something, just like a fairy that's just more, it just has a higher like special attack stat. I mean, Aromatisse's attack is not that high, but
yeah,
like a more
just
offensive.
Mega Clef though, like
Specimen
135, I think.
True. But so where I'm going with this is I think Matt has this trait about him where he has like a list of mons that he knows are good, right? And that he likes using.
That's illegal. You're
and
not
he
allowed
has
to do
success
that.
with, and it's completely valid. But he feels like I said this to him actually in person recently. It feels like it's one for all in Hero Academia, where you accumulate through like people passing on this like experience and this knowledge. You accumulate this like power, and over years and years of accumulating this power and people passing on knowledge of, hey, you should try Mega Garchomp, hey, you should try Ursaluna, hey, you should try Mega Aggron, you should try Mega Venusaur. Over the years of him accruing this value, I think eventually he will just be the best player ever. As soon as his like repertoire and his like arsenal of Pokemon is wide enough, he'll just be unstoppable, because he'll have like the list will be 150 mons long instead of like 40.
That's the first generation.
Right? True.
He'll almost catch up to.
He could play a Gen 1
Gen
draft.
40 by then.
Yeah, but he's a very like sound player in battle, who I think is a little green when it comes to like experimenting with Pokemon and finding value in Pokemon. But as soon as people show him the value,
that makes sense.
i.e. in this case,
because there's some people who are really good at experimenting.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it doesn't translate to battle. He has the ability to battle well with whatever he has. He just needs to have faith in whatever he has. And I think he just needs a nudge sometimes to be like, you should try this because it's good in this scenario and this is why. And then it just clicks and he runs with it and he wins with it, right? So this, to me, this team is one of the better Overmat teams that I've seen from him for honestly a while. And it's day and night from the season, where last season he was
shat on his team. It was terrible.
Yeah, and I think he missed playoffs too for the first time ever. Because he was traveling. He was out in Japan while the draft was going on, and he just kind of like picked stuff, but it just didn't work, right? And this time around, I think he's got a way better roster. He's got a lot of comfort mons like Gloking, Zapdos, Cinderace, like Yawn, Overmat. But then he's got a team that's full of mons that like he's been trying out over the last like few seasons. Arctozold, whatever, we've seen him use that before.
Yeah.
But everything else, I think, is new knowledge that he's gained over the last like year that I'm excited to see how it goes. And sure, whatever, Cacturn. Now your Dracovish has to not be choice bando now.
What do you think of the Urshifu being the only water type and the Cacturn being the only grass type? Like, what's your water resist besides?
So nothing? I do typically have a problem with that.
There's no water resist because your dragon's neutral.
Yeah, I do think though, if we assume that like Zapdos, Clef, and Slowking are gonna, for the most part, be like complement each other with some sort of defense and Fizdef. Fizdef and Spadef. You'll be able to get away with
huge power Azumarill. What do you do about that?
True. I mean, then you just bring your Cacturn.
That's 4 times as strong. That's true. That's what the Cacturn comes in for.
Yeah, exactly. He thought about this.
That's what he did think about.
No, that's a problem that I do have, is just like the Quack, and just like I would have had if he had Keldeo instead of like this is the adaptation, right? He was a Keldeo enjoyer. Somebody said, oh, if you liked Keldeo, you would like Urshi Rapid. Here's Urshi Rapid, right?
I didn't like Urshi Rapid because it felt too overpowered. and I just got bored
He's
using
got,
it.
and honestly, even Mega Chomp is very tailorable defensively. It can be like high defense, high spit F,
Yeah.
and like just trade positively. I
My
don't
my
think this team is
issue
going to struggle trading.
my issue is that with the speed tiers, like two of your kind of like middle speed tiers are mons that don't want to be running speed most of the time. I feel like if Zapdos is part of your defensive backbone and Garchomp as
Yeah, like
well,
Zapdos Chomp. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
like you might be a little bit tempted. I mean, you have Urshifu at 97, which isn't bad. But he's another one. Where it's like, what if you want to run like a bulk up set or like a more, or what if you're just Scarf and you're like completely skipping
Mhm.
this speed? Um, you really just have the Cinderace at the top,
Yeah.
and then you have like a pretty big jump. So I guess you do have like weather
Things between
shenanigans with like
like
the Slush Rush Arctozolt, and you have priority with like Aqua Jet. So it's not the end of the world. I don't think it's like a huge issue, but like it is something I noticed that it's like that's like when your speed tiers in the middle are like some of your defensive mons that aren't really gonna be running speed a lot of the time. Like that, I noticed that sometimes an issue.
mm. Yeah, I think one thing I noticed rather is things from like 115 up until Cinderace's speed tier can run boosting nature. So like the Azelf, the
Yeah, or anything
Raikou,
the
the
number
Iron Valley.
95s that there are too, right under Urshifu as well. Anything up to
True.
Cinderace and up to
They
Urshifu.
do now. Technically, I think those mons like the Iron Valiant should be respecting Mega Garchomp before it megas, which will
That's true.
outspeed
What's the base speed on it?
Adamant.
It's like, is it what
It's
is it on a base?
333, I believe. It's 102
It's a
total,
weird
like
one.
base.
Yeah. Okay, 102. I knew it was one that like wasn't
Yeah,
super common.
yeah, and I think it like just outspeeds Adamant or Modest Valiant. Now, whether people believe that Matt would ever run 252 plus non-Mega Garchomp is another story. I don't think that's ever happening. And I think people know that it's not happening. Something else, I think last thing I wanted to mention here is I really like the because neither of them are necessary to even come.
Yeah.
Like you have a very good roster of 6 mons without any of your captains coming. But them coming is like, first of all, perfectly viable. Like they're strong captains in their own right. And they do very, very different things. And I think they're going to pull a lot of prep. And if they don't pull a lot of prep, then they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like the art result specifically is like you said, it doesn't have to come to every game. It's like it's gonna come to very specific games, right? Where it's like that
Mm-hmm.
you have like that it can like punch a hole in it with the weather, which might have happened in
Yep.
this first game considering it's +5. But
Yeah. And they're both kind of speed control in their own way as well, because Zolt
yeah,
will be Slush Rush, and then Staka will be
Trick Room
probably
itself.
Trick Room.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I mean it
definitely
could
good
Trick Room
for
itself, or
cases.
you could Gloking Trick Room
Yeah,
to set it up.
Gloking. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I almost
But
wish that there was more of a Trick Room angle with this team besides just these two. Maybe not more of an angle, but
I
like
don't.
maybe like
I think the
one more
more.
mon that takes advantage of
Hmm,
it. But even Garchomp, like I
yeah,
guess like a min speed Mega Chomp, I would
honestly,
sooner see
Slowking
him
itself
use
can use
that.
it with like
Yeah,
Trick Room, like Life Orb, Slowking or something is actually not bad.
yeah, or
Can
Clef.
even be like Trick Room Plot, like Dual Stab or something, or like Poison Fire or something.
What about Magic Guard, Life Orb, Clef, and Trick Room?
Yeah, I think that's also actually unironically
It
good.
would be pretty good.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how Matt does with this. I totally forgot. The community gave it a
Oh, did we
7.06.
not say that?
So
Yeah,
we're back above
pretty
the
even spread.
sevens.
Yeah,
And
got a
I think
few
this is pretty good
nines, few
for
eights,
Matt's team.
7, 6, 5, down to 4.
Yeah, definitely bell
Most of
curved
them
around
nines.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
cool.
next up we got another longtime player in the league,
Yeah,
Mr. Riceman.
Rice Man. The community they rated his team a 6.71. So it has
I remember
dipped
which
back
ones
below
are
7.
letters and which ones are numbers. Is it literally just least speak? Okay, it is. I always forget. I
Yeah,
always
that's
feel
it.
like that
It's
there's
league
like
speak.
one letter that's doesn't fit the theme, but
So yeah, just slightly below 7 again, but higher than the few that we reviewed before Matt. Most of the
Yeah.
most of the ratings here are 7 and 8.
Yeah, they're like very stacked on those two.
Yeah, very equally distributed between them, but then it has a few trailings like 4 to 6.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, first thing I see is we got a Tusk team. Tusk's always gonna be good. But we do have double psychic. Now, one of the psychics is neutral
We do.
to dark. And I get you have a pretty good dark resistant Tusk. But I'm wondering what the is it because Victini just like benefits from the psychic terrain too? Like it's just like some kind of just
Yeah, it actually has
size
expanding
spam in
force.
singles. Like
yeah, Victini expanding force is actually pretty strong.
yeah. I'm sure you
And
just, like,
it's
tailor it to
also
do whatever.
it's unlike like other kind of secondary psychics that you usually see on Lele teams. Try to be like Alakazam or something that would usually be in that slot. Because it consistently beats the steel types that Lele
Yeah,
and Zam would usually
true.
struggle with. So I think I was even mentioning it to him because he was talking to me potential trades that he might want to do for, and I won't like throw him under the bus
Reveal
for what he was saying. But I was even saying it to him. I don't think we've ever seen anybody draft Lele Victini before.
No,
and I'm very
I mean
interested in
Victini
it.
itself seems very rare. I feel like we don't see it
Which
very
is so
often.
surprising because I agree, but I think Victini's so strong.
I think it's just it goes under the radar because it's just another mythic that's with the 600 base set total, where it's like
Yeah,
it's the same reason we don't see Celebi a lot, even though like it or like Shaman, even though they're both usable. But like usually it's like one person who like specifically wants to use them will draft them. Like you rarely see them like fill the slot unless it's Mew,
yeah,
because Mew does so much. But it's like these guys are like, well, if I wanted a like a fire or a psychic attacker, it's like there are other options that are more min max to like what I need to fill on this team, and people just kind of overlook it.
mm.
But I'm not saying that that makes it
Um,
worse. I'm saying that's why people usually ignore it, especially for 16 points. You know, like usually you kind of
yeah,
already have a plan for those points.
yeah. Now I like honestly almost every mono on this team. I'm a big believer in. I was a big Empoleon truther for a while, and then I started using it. And it just gets overloaded with that it tries to do on
Was that
teams that it
before or
looks
after it
good
got
on.
buffed though?
It was after it got buffed. I was the biggest Empoleon truther. I went, this mon is
Oh,
going to be
after
so
it got
strong.
okay. Yeah,
After it got buffed, yeah.
yeah,
And then it kind of just let me down a bit.
yeah. It's a big four move slot victim.
Yeah,
It looks so good into every matchup until like into like every scenario until you actually try to build it for a matchup. It's like shit. I can't actually do
yeah.
all
And
the
then it
things
has
at
to be
once.
like, yeah, it has to be Shuka and Choppel and
Right.
leftovers and rocks and defog and knockoff and flip turn and scald and
It's so
toxic
crazy, man. It's
and
the only water steel type in the game.
flash cannon. Yeah, that is crazy.
That seems
I
like it's
noticed
a
that
combo that
so
would be more common.
so similar, like thinking back to the other team that we saw with two psychic types with Gallade and what was it? Not Zap's team. It was the Gallade Slowking team.
Soaking, yeah.
This team has the double psychic, but I think Hisuian Quillfish is a lot more real than
Yeah.
Skuntank.
I mean, it's 8 points. Like you gotta look. These are the lower mons on the team. The lowest though
Mhm.
is an 8-pointer. Like there's not
Mhm.
any real like shitters on here. So like sometimes you look kind
Yeah.
of like you kind of block this part of the team kind of like out of your sight when you're trying to actually evaluate the team. These mons are all very real. Like these kinds of like you kind of put them all together as kind of like the same range of mons that could easily come to any game.
Yeah.
Especially when two of them are
Something
Terra Captains.
that I like in general on Steela teams is when there's a second steal, so that Steela doesn't have to be like the fairy resist basically. But
When you also
I do
like
think that
with Empoleon not
Empoleon,
being the only steal. Or the only
yes, that's
water.
true. But I feel like with Empoleon in particular, like they're both just getting thunderbolted. You know, like there's
That's
it's
true,
nice
yeah.
that one resists ice and one and like they both resist fairy, and it gives you options, right? And like Steela can be the ground switch and Empoleon can be like the psychic switch or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
you can kind of feed off of each other. But yeah, I just feel like they're just running Thunderbolt. Like things are just running electric coverage and they just
Yeah.
hit, right? So it'll be
And
tough
Tusk
in
can't really like
scenarios
take
where they
risks
just
against
get
all those
electric.
mons either with such a low spit up. Where it's like if that mon also has like Grass Knot or something, like you can't always be like, well, I
Mhm.
have Tusk to answer the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
It actually
Unless
makes me
it's
think that
like
like electric
dedicated
flying is
physical
kind of good
attackers.
into this team.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But then again, you also have your Terra captains
Yeah,
too
I'm
that
not
can
as
always
worried here about
work around
Ghost.
that.
It's true, yeah. So about the Terras, actually, I like Sinistra. It is
Yeah,
just
really good
another
Terra
Ghost
captain.
resist or Ghost week before Terra, and Regidrago feels like a massive Terra merchant where both of them really like both captains really want to Terra. Sinistra gets a lot better with it, but doesn't really need it. I think Regidrago kind of needs it. It's got to be like Terra Steel or just Terra Dragon, Terra
Yeah.
Ground or something. Um,
But I think
and I don't know
the
if I'm a
difference is
big
that
believer in it. I think it's good.
you don't have to bring it if you're not planning on tearing it though, and I think that's
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Even though Sinistra's like there, like you can bring it if you don't want to tear it. It's like I think it's reasonable to say like there's probably not many games where you're going to bring both because usually the only time you'd be bringing this is like with the intent to tear it, and if you're bringing Sinistra, it's like well you might not really be planning on that, so Ready Drago just doesn't come to that game.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's different from Afonso's Terra Captains that I said where Jolteon was a hog and Entei
Yeah,
kind of didn't need it.
yeah, because you kind
Where
of need
there's
the
a reason,
Jolteon.
yeah, there's a reason to bring Jolteon for its
Yeah,
speed, right? The only
yeah.
reason that you would ever feel like you're forced to bring Regidrago is like if the team just has 0 dragon resist and it's just a pure upside, right? As opposed
Which
to
yeah, which in
Jolteon,
that case it's just
you
like
kind of
cool.
have to bring
Don't need
Jolteon to like have that
Sinistra.
speed tier, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. But if you want like the speed tier of Jolteon, you have to bring it, and if you bring it, you
right.
might as well tear it, right?
Yeah,
Something that does feel like a bit of an outlier on this team is Raikou.
yeah.
It feels
That's like
like
a speed
it's
tier
almost like
checkbox.
yeah, it's definitely just here for the speed. I don't think it's doing too much really. I don't think it'll be coming over Sinistra or Quillfish even that often, personally.
Yeah,
But we'll see. I think
it is a
just
weird
having the
spot.
speed tier will be nice to force like Jolly 120s or
Well,
something.
you know
But
what? We've talked a lot about teams that are like very physically reliant and not a lot of special attack. This team is very special. Outside of Tusk, who's obviously physical, Steela with like the heavy slam, if you want to do that. And then Victini can be either. But like that's I'm just noticing it because we're talking about like Raikou, where it's like, what does Raikou bring that these guys don't? That we
yeah,
just like if you want to just be a strong special attacker, that you're like Terra Sinistra or your Specs Drago or your Victini could run if it wanted to. It feels a little, and as a mono electric type that doesn't really bring anything else. You know, it's like it's
it kind
just
of
kind of
doesn't. I
yeah.
I think I disagree in that it's too special. Um, because
Not the
honestly,
team overall.
the
I
thing
just mean
that
the bottom half of
yeah,
the team.
that's fair. I do think though that like psychic types in particular have it pretty easy because they can just run Psyshock when they have to.
That's true. Yeah.
And in terrain like Psyshock Victini,
Yeah. Yeah.
Psyshock Special Victini is completely
Socks.
fine. Yeah, but also like just V create forehead.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bottom half definitely. I
You're
think you're
very
right.
special, Mazda.
Very special. Anyway, I gave this team an 8. I actually think it's pretty good. I rated it
it's solid
higher
too.
than 30. Yeah, I think it's very solid. It could probably get upgrades. You're right. Maybe like some Empoleon, Raikou, Regidrago trade.
I think you
And
keep
yeah, look for
Empoleon.
improvements.
But yeah, it's the kind of team where it's like I don't think it's in desperate need of any changes. It's the kind of thing where it's like play it for a couple of weeks, and if you feel like something is falling short, then make some changes. But like, there's absolutely no like need to change anything if it's working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's good for me on this. I think we can move on to
Bunhara.
our next contender, who is Bunhara. Maybe
All right.
she's still around.
Maybe. All right.
Nice.
The rating for Bunhara was 7.35. So, whoa. Okay, I'm looking at the numbers now.
Holy crap.
there was. I'm just gonna read them all. So 4, 6, 7, and 10 all had 1 vote. 5 had 2 votes. 8 had 11 votes.
Yeah.
It's
It
it
crazy
averaged
to
at
me that
7.35 because they were a little more below than above, but 8 people had an 8. So I would say that
11
ignoring
people
this,
had an 8.
or 11 people, yeah, you're right. I just read the wrong number. Even though the average is mathematically speaking 7.35, I think that the community thinks this team is an 8. I think we could say
Yeah, if we were to take
that's
the
what people
median,
think.
like maybe median rating is a better thing to use than average rating, just so it's not thrown off by all of these like kind of troll things.
Well, I don't want to like completely invalidate like the lower votes too, because there's nothing that's
No,
like
you're right.
super
You're right.
troll on this one. So
Yeah,
the
if
average
this was
is
median, it
important.
would be a little more
Yeah,
accurate.
I think for this one specifically, when the number is that high of people who all agreed that
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah, I mean,
this is it.
65% of the
Yeah.
vote agreed on one number being
Yeah.
8 out of 10. And I agreed with it too.
Yeah, it looks like a solid team.
Totally transparent. Yeah, I like it. I think
White Ops, hell yeah.
specifically the like Terrapagos Megalopony is a very scary like double normal. I know that last season we saw double normal with I believe Sky Knight drafted double normal with Terrapagos and Ursaluna. And that looked pretty scary too. It has the same physical special like breaker profile. But Terrapagos Megalop feels a lot. Yeah,
I've run,
you've
like,
run
entire
10
team
normal before.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I've also done
Terrapagos
Amapom and
Megalop
Grafii
feels
on
like
the same team. That's double normal. Like outside of
not a monkey, by the way.
He is an II, but the Dex entry is tiny monkey Pokemon. So
okay, dude. But yeah, sorry, the Terrapagos Megalop feels like
with that.
It's taken, yeah, it has even less overlap, I think, than the Terrapagos Ursaluna that we saw that already like I tended to like. And we have a really good team against fighting types to shore up the weakness with Golden Go, Slowbro, and Pheasant.
Well, even against Kilowattrel, ghost types with the Golden Go, like you just like you can't, you're not really like safe as a ghost type against the Golden Go, who could just blow you up as well.
Yeah, and Megalop that still hits you.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Scrappy. Yeah. Just forgot that it gets that.
Yeah, so I think that the top 3 there between Terrapagos and Lop is actually pretty clever, and then the rest of the team fills out with pivots, fills its speed tier, fills its offensive profile, and throws on a good Terra Captain and calls it a day. And I think that's
Terra Rhyperior,
that's kind of how you build teams.
Busted Terra
I am
Captain.
concerned that Terrapagos or Rhyperior have to rock, because I feel like neither of them really want to.
Does Rhyperior really not want to?
I think especially Terra Rhyperior wants to be hitting stuff. And it wants to be like using the 50-50 Terra flip turn to get a positive trade to go like 1.5 for 1.
I guess,
in my opinion.
But I think you can also take advantage of that to get rocks up.
Yeah, for sure you could. Yeah.
I don't think it's the end of the world.
For sure.
Between those
two.
It
definitely isn't.
I think usually one of them.
And there's also a spiker with Ogerpon too. Like you have something, and Terrapagos.
Yeah. Well, and also you just have
an assault vest. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say too is like you have a lot of like physical breakers too. That it's like losing one move on Rhyperior isn't the end of the world when you have Ogerpon and Lop crushing things.
I think what I would like to see, just in general on Megalopony teams, is more quality knockoff users. I don't think Pawn and Sneasel, like Sneasel, if it's coming, it will be running knockoff. I don't think Pawn is running it very often, and neither of them are like particularly good at it. No, it doesn't. But that's the thing is, I think Lop wants things Rocky Helmets to be knocked off for it, right? Because it wants to be clicking like
nobody really has
low, like it wants to be clicking like
Goldingo gets tricked or switcheroo, right?
Yeah, but they're not sharing checks though. Like if you have a physical attacker that shares a check with Lopunny,
it's not going to come in on
like if Fairy type, like if Sneasel was Weavile, for example, I do think there's a little too much overlap because they're both like frail, fast attackers. But but something like that. It's like a physical like knockoff stab user. I think Lopunny gets a lot of value out of that because people are just
Even
running
like
more
a
helmets,
Zarude or
and
something.
it's more easy to read. Yeah, like Zarude would be great for sure.
I would almost say like
Like
Zarude over Ogerpon in
over the
this
Overcon.
case. Yeah. But I don't know what the points are, or if it's even still on the board.
Yeah, it's around the same. The 110 speed on Pawn is nice. It kind of gets
Yeah.
you over that threshold.
But you have
Because
a
Sneasel isn't
125
really
kilowatt
speed.
roll.
Yeah, you have
And your
130.
Mega.
What is it? 136 slop or something, or 135,
135, yeah.
and then 115 sneeze. Like the speed tiers are completely fine. It's just whether Sneasel actually is coming to games.
I don't think it counts. I mean, well, that's 7
Yeah,
point actually. That's higher than I thought. I guess it's more real than I thought.
yeah, it's actually pretty decent. Terrorless of Read though you. I think it's fine.
I think if you're bringing it to be a stab
I know
knock
what you're
user,
saying. Like
it's
I
fine.
agree. Mm-hmm.
Just like they have the grass dark type. And if you're getting rid of the Ogerpon, you only have one grass type. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. Even if it's something
You would
like
be kind of weak to U-turn though on this team. Well, maybe not.
yeah, I guess
Fez,
maybe like an
where do you have
Alolan
a
Muck
Fez?
or something.
Yeah, there would have to be a
Like
couple
Alolan
different
Muck is a good
changes.
thing that requires physical answers.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just it's
I think
very
it's
nitpicky.
yeah, it's
And a
fine
thing that
without
I
it.
just kind of specifically like about Lop. Yeah,
Yeah,
very fine. Like Lop can just click CC and just kill stuff instead of like having to just click U-turn and get chipped down by helmets. It's just nice to have the option more reliably.
yeah,
Terra Kilowattrel I think is very different again from Terra Jolteon, where since it has a secondary stab, it doesn't rely on Terra Blast as much. Right? Like it can just run Hurricane and it can
yeah.
run like against a rain team, it can run
Weather
or
Ball.
something, right? Like
Yeah.
it has more strong moves to click than Jolteon. So yeah, I think Rhyperior will probably be the Terra most of the time when it comes. And if it doesn't come, like Kilowattrel's not gonna not use Terra. I think it'll use it pretty decently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like this team. I actually agreed with the 11 or
Yeah,
with the 10 other people who gave it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of the 8
You are one of
Raider
them, yeah.
sheep.
You're part of the statistic. All right. Well, next up we got Polito Shark, which is
Polito?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. It's like Apollo,
Yeah.
like a Polito.
Yeah, we go way back. He told me that it's Polito.
Yeah, it's Polito.
Yeah.
Community says 6.67. It looks like a little bit more of an even spread. There is a 1 on here that is
I'm doing the hands. Can you hear it?
bringing it down. No, I can't.
Yeah, there is a 1. That was surprisingly the 1 wasn't me, and I love to hate on.
Was the 1 himself?
Maybe.
Actually, no. I wonder if it's like actually people just looking at this team being like, "What the fuck?" We got Vulpix and Xatu right on. There's a lot of like low point mons, but that's also just like a team that fills out the whole roster, makes it look like this.
Bun says, I don't remember if I forgot that Zarude was an option for a dark type or if I just wasn't vibing with its defensive profile. It's definitely an option I should look into, though. Yeah, and like I said, it's for an extremely... It might be. It's for an extremely niche scenario, too. Like, just wanting it for a stronger knockoff stab, I think, is maybe a little pedantic.
Oh, actually, it has to still be on the board. I'm looking at the rest of the teams right now, and nobody has it. So I just looking ahead and knowing that we haven't talked about it yet. It is still on the board.
I don't know how much just consider it. Yeah. And Pawn can still knock. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it.
For Polito, I gave him a 7, and it's right in the ballpark of what the community thought as well. Actually, about 40% of the people agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
We've got Gouging Fire, Terra Buzzwole, Prim, Corner Pawn, Flendy T, Mega Aggron, Silvally, Mesprit, Xatu, Rhydon, Terra, and Pix.
I guess if it's illegal. I was just surprised Buzzwole's 15 points. I thought it was kind of a fraud. Like, not that I've like seen it and think that it's a fraud. Yeah, Terra's good. But I just always thought that like people thought that it was a fraud, so I was surprised it was 15.
I do think that without Terra, it's not that great.
Yeah. I just think that the
but it's not completely fine, honestly. Yeah,
But
the
Terra gets
thing
rid of
with
that.
specifically flying, it's just like Mega Heracross, right? Or well, both, I guess. Where like random things just get like Aerial Ace, but Buzzwole in particular doesn't lose to Aerial Ace.
Yeah,
It loses to
it's so
Air
bulky.
Slash.
Air slash,
And like
or and
Air
also like you
Cutter.
always have the chance that like Hurricane's just gonna miss.
True. But it's more along the lines of like people will run like the random weird special coverage that like you never consider, like Air Cutter or
Yeah.
like friggin' Gust, right? That like, ah, damn, this bug type gets Gust that I didn't prep for.
That's
Like,
funny.
damn, yeah.
But Terra makes that a lot higher risk of bringing Gust against the Buzzwole when it could just Terra and make it an actually completely useless move slot.
True. As much as I love Buzz, it's like a super giga shit version of Hands. I definitely would not call it super giga shit. But
I would. I think
I think
that's a
actually I'm
funny
a big
thing to call
believer.
it.
I actually think like people, I think people look at it and go, "Oh, I want to like Terra Poison or Terra Steel or like
But you're just thinking
whatever,
of
right? Terra
Okie Dokie.
doesn't matter." True, but I think even just like a Scarf Terra fighting CC bot is like good. Like don't forget this thing has Beast Boost. And I think
That's
as a
true.
Scarfer it's very strong.
Yeah.
Kind of
'Cause Beast
underrated,
Boost
I think.
doesn't care about Scarf, right? You would just get your attack boost.
Yeah, so it would just boost your attack and just be Moxie for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Overall though, this team is could you say this is maybe an overmat team? I mean, we see the
Thundy, the
Prim.
Mega Aggron.
He's a big Prim fan.
Silvally.
He's never used Corner Pawn himself, but he likes Corner Pawn. He likes Thundy, Mega Aggron, Silvally. He likes Terra Rhyperior, which is like basically
we didn't really talk
Rhydon.
about Silvally also like being able to cover anything that's missing here for types.
Yeah, I mean, well, what types are missing? I guess
Nothing
you don't
is
have a
really
Ground
missing.
of Poison. You don't have
I'm
a
wondering what
Dark.
the double like mid-tier psychic is for. I get like having Mesprit on this team.
Yeah, I don't like
But,
Xatu.
But like, why is the Xatu here? What's it do?
Yeah,
Why is it looking at me?
I think Magic Bounce Xatu is very overrated. I don't think it actually stops the Mons from like doing what they want to do.
It
just
did
the
in
Mon just
Gen
sucks.
5.
Yeah, true.
Doesn't anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Mesprit is just like always coming over Xatu. Gouging Fire is really strong. This is I'm just noticing this is another team at 110 speed cap with no item.
Oh yeah, it's just
and the next Mon is not even close. Oh, sorry, I forgot Thundy.
Well, no, it's 101.
Silvally would be the Ground of Poison.
Yeah, I think we're saying like we were talking about what Silvally fills the gap for, and then we're like, oh, well, what's it actually missing? Oh, Ground of Poison.
Yeah.
So.
Super Giga Shit Hatterene, true.
It is.
Yeah. But I mean, I like a lot.
That's still like
that's
still not great. Like damn, as you, even that's not as much of a gap as you thought.
The gap between what? Sorry.
Well, you were saying like before you noticed Thundy, there was a pretty big gap. Like even Thundy, it's like this still isn't a great speed tier, like to like that to be.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's
110, and then Thundy's.
I think the specific problem is more so that I think Silvally and Gouging Fire want to be as bulky as possible.
Does Silvally always?
So they don't actually want to run that speed. Sorry.
Is Silvally always bulky?
No, it's not. But it's the kind of mon that like wishes that it could always be bulky.
Yeah, because I guess it just doesn't have stats otherwise. Like it has average stats, but it's like
unless you're running like a Swords Dance Flame Charge kind of set, which I do think that set is strong.
I guess that's kind of speaking of speed setup though. Like Gouging Fire will be getting speed boosts a lot.
Yep.
And
it's not necessarily that like that speed tier is a problem, like not having it. It's more so that like I don't think they get a lot from being bulky and will take time to actually have that speed tier if they're getting the bulk that they want.
Yeah, it's never going to come in and just be that fast.
Yeah.
Buzzwole
now we
could
did
be
see, I believe, in his first game. In his first game, he ran booster speed, gouging fire. I believe
Oh,
maybe it was somebody else.
But
Actually,
that's
I
still
don't
only
remember.
once that happens.
Oh wait, no, he had the full Spadef gouging fire. That was
What a
funny.
noob.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can
Yeah,
move
sure.
on at this point. We just keep
Yeah,
it
I think it's
rolling.
fine. I gave it a 7. I think I might have said that, but
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah, because you said
It's a
you were
Matt team.
agreeing with the 7 other people that said 7. All right,
Yeah.
Royce. Royce. Oh, you know what? The first one I missed. I didn't change Bonhara's name to Polito.
Oh, I can't believe you.
But we'll skip
That's
that.
okay. Yeah.
What can I do that?
So this is Royce's first time in All-Star. He just got the call up from Hustle.
Cool.
And his rating is lukewarm at best with a 6.5.
6.5.
It's kind of middle of the pack, right?
It's
like there's a lot of
another
things
one with just a
between
lot of
6
sevens.
and yeah. And it's
There's
actually
more
pretty
spread.
spread out. Like the team even has a 10, but it also has a 3, which I guess counters itself out. But then there's a lot of spread between 5 and 8, where there's like 4 5s, for example.
Yeah, it just drags it down a little bit.
Yeah.
It
I
is
gave the
kind of like
team
a
7.
like a gen, like an early gen core team, but just like with a couple paradox ones.
The first thing though that I thought about this team is, okay, I always see Mew as this Pokemon that does everything, but it doesn't want to have to do everything. And whenever there's a roster that has Mew, that forces Mew to be the rocker or the bulky pivot or the whatever, I always give it, like, I always take points away from it because it wants to be like the nasty plot or the CM or the bulk up or the like the whatever cool like setup set, right? Ideally, like that's when it shines the most and gets the most like points on the leaderboard at least, right? But I'd never considered it on a team specifically like Sun that needs that insane roll compression. And rather than looking at Mew as the setup mon that's forced to be the utility mon, this is just the super utility mon on a team that doesn't need offense because it's a Sun offense team.
Yeah.
And I think that's very rare. And it's
Mew
kind of
is
an
very
angle that I
rare.
hadn't really, yes, it's an angle that I hadn't really considered before, and I think it's really interesting. So, like, between like Walking Wake and Terra Heatran, Slitherwing and Sandy Shocks, and even Terra Victory Belt, and it's not lacking in pure offense, right? Like, I guess it is lacking a little in setup in particular, but I don't think in Sun these things need setup. Like booster attack on Slither, booster spatak on Wake and Shocks, or even booster speed, like, and just getting the raw Sun damage, like upgrade on their fire moves, I think is more than enough to make up for it. And Lando's kind of in a similar spot where it's like it can be the offensive setup mon, but it's also just a nice bulky pivot rocker that makes Torkoal not have to do it, makes Sandy Shocks not have to do it, makes Mew not have to do it, and is just kind of can partner with Mew to have a standard like defensive, like 2-mon defensive core that does everything, so that the rest of the team can fly without having to worry about it, right? Bun says in chat, I feel Mew is drafted as a role filler as opposed to a mon that can respond to everyone else. Yes, I agree. And in this case, I think it's like it's almost, I guess one way you could look at it is almost like an emergency button saying, Sun has so many problems on it that I need to fill them with something. It might as well be Mew. And maybe that can seem a little panicked. I choose to look at it the other way, as Mew is the Swiss Army knife
Very
of
confident.
the team that could really use it, yeah.
What do you think about the speed? Like we have 109 max, but it's not an item restricted mon. You have your
it'll be booster
chlorophyll
speed a
Terra
lot of the
Victory Bell.
time. Yeah, Victory Bell's okay. I don't think it'll be coming that often over like, I don't know, even just like booster speed Shocks, booster speed Wake, I think will more so be your speed control. Even like Scarf Lando in some cases will be more speed control. I do think that the team really struggles outside of Sun. So the games are going to be very determined by how well Royce can manage and keep the Sun throughout the
I mean,
game.
Mew just bringing Sunny Day sometimes as a backup option
Sure,
is also nice.
honestly, completely fine. Yeah, especially in a matchup against like a Tyranitar. If there's,
Yeah,
I don't think we have a rain team. Actually, I don't even know if T-Tar was taken. I don't remember.
I haven't seen T-Tar.
Yeah,
And just looking ahead, I don't see T-Tar. I don't
crazy.
see either T-Tar.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I don't like Mantine. I'm not too sure why Mantine's here. Maybe it's just a
Just vibing.
ground resist, but
Why
like
is
you
he
have
7
Lando.
points? What does he do? Defog?
Mantine, it's like it's kind of just
Oh my god,
I don't
140
know. It's a
Spadef.
relic of the past. It does have a lot of SPDF. It has Roost and Defog and
But
Toxic,
it's
and
still
that's kind of
quad
it.
weak to electric. So
It is. Um, it also has Swift Swim, and everything with Swift Swimming gets the automatic point
oh
boost.
yeah, on the Sun team, that makes sense.
So yeah, but that's the thing is I don't really care too much for Mantine. I'm sure there's something better than that there. Because it's like not even an ice
Yeah.
resist, and you already have walking or no. Oh, actually, walking away doesn't resist it, but you have like Torkoal, Heatran
Heatran,
to
yeah, I
resist
think you're fine
ice.
with ice for Lando.
It's a water resist, I guess, but sun is up, and
And you also have quad
some you can just take
resist
it.
and wake.
Mantine Slander, yeah, I'm a Mantine Slander. Anyways, I think this team is really interesting, and like I said, I think it's
Yeah, it's
an
a weather
interesting
team,
take on
but it's an
Mew, but
interesting
it
one.
is at the end of the day a weather team. Yeah, so we'll
I think
see.
it's more interesting than the average weather team, though.
But again, Brad Boy, why like what do you need water absorb for on a Sun team when you also have a 4 times water resist with Walking Wake? Is my thing, right? Was
Maybe they're
140 spit
thirsty.
it's an ice resist? Yeah, mostly. Okay, anyways, I think we can move on. To Skyhops.
Skyhops. Skyhops, we got an
Now,
average of 7.83. This is one of our
yeah,
higher
approaching
ones,
an 8.
right?
Yeah.
And that's with a
Um
4, by the way. Somebody voted 4, and this still got a 7.83. That's pretty
yeah,
nice.
and most of
Multiple
its
tens.
ratings are above like 8 and above, right? There's
I'm actually, let me.
12 votes that are 8 and above, and there's 6 that are below 8.
You know what's
So
crazy?
it's really an 8. What's
Besides
up?
Camel, this is the only other team that we've seen that has more than 110.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. There's a couple like individual tens.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, Brad Boy, again, though, there is a Lando and there's a Slitherwing already for ground types, so. It's like, do those things want to do that role all the time? I guess not necessarily, but I'm sure there's something better in 7. But I'm not going to talk about Royce's team anymore. We're moving on.
Well, moving on.
Yeah.
Hey, here's your favorite archetype, Fairy Core, only Mega Ball.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I will give it mostly a pass because there's also a Jirachi, so it's not also the only steel. It's just the only fairy.
Yeah.
Which is like serviceable.
In between those two, they actually do kind of just handle anything that a fairy would need to handle.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually really like this team's offensive profile. I think maybe having the 2 4x ice weeks is a little tough, especially when you're running Meow.
Well,
I feel like Ice Shard is going to be pretty good into this team.
You got a lot of resists though, like Mawile resists.
Yeah, there is.
Resist,
There's
Jirachi
5 resists.
Moth resists.
Yeah.
Blastoise.
Yeah, 5 ice resists for the 2 4x weeks, but it doesn't change the fact that people are going to be running, like, even if you only had Dragonite, people are going to be running ice.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you have 5 resists for it or whatever resists for it. So them bringing ice just for Dragonite means they're already effectively prepped for Lando offensively, right?
Yeah. And this is.
I mean, that's kind of just how. Right, it's not.
It's like it's just not
that's kind of just how type charts work. I mean, you could also argue that anybody bringing a ground move for Iron Moth is also prepped for like Jirachi and Mawile if you want to like be that reductionist about it. So I won't go down that route. That just says R3. Not sure what that means. Terra Keldeo is very strong. I think specifically like the Meow Mawile Keldeo core is really nice. Offensive pivots can blow holes in teams. This is I feel like Meow is the kind of like knocker that you would want with the Megaloth.
Yeah.
Where
But
it's
I mean,
very
also
threatening, does
18
other
points.
things.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah. And also just a
I feel like if we
fragile
saw
attacker, just like
Megalop
Weepile.
with Meow on the same team, we'd be saying, why do we have like 40 points dedicated to two frail fast attackers?
Yeah. I will say a problem I have is, I mean, I guess never mind. I guess we can count Lando and D-Knight as by technicality. Blastoise feels like it has to come a lot. I'm not sure. Did it come in his first game? It did come.
Oh, it did. It did. I just lied.
And it isn't really the end of the world. Yeah. Not the end of the world. No, I like this team a lot. I think the overall like offensive profile of the team is pretty strong. The speed tiers are good. I mean, you've got Meow, Moth, Keldeo.
Yeah, I think speed's fine.
They're all very scarfable, very like you can even just boost their Moth. Terra Keldeo is very threatening. Jirachi here is kind of the Swiss Army knife. It does whatever the team might need. It could even be like the Trick Room setter for Mawile. I think
it's great.
Healing Wish for Mawile is very strong. Yeah, pretty sweet. Mawile and Meow kind of struggle against opposing steel types, and Moth and Keldeo just blow through them. I do think Lando feels a little bit like a fish out of water here.
Yeah,
you do need a ground.
That's a little bit weird.
Yeah, you do need a ground, but like you weren't really hurting for that speed tier with Jirachi and Keldeo right around it.
And Moth. Not too far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if anything's going to change, it'd be the Lando. But what other ground types are there in this range?
I'm not sure. Maybe dropping Lando for like maybe Crocodile is open. I know that's double dark, but I think it opens an extra point to upgrade Wordier into a better captain. Because honestly, Terra Wordier is not great.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the PWC Wordier truthers. It's not good, and stop forcing it.
That's fair. All right, you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I gave it an 8, and I think it's a really good team. So we'll see how he does with it.
We got Azzy next. Uh-oh.
We only have 2 more.
In this division.
They gave it a 7.33. Anyways, next.
That's actually pretty good. And that's with it too.
So Baby Dragonzard got a 7.22.
We're just jumping ahead.
I'm kidding. I do that to him every season when we're doing the reveals.
Yeah.
I'll put like a little blurb for everybody.
And then there's...
And then I'll just mention him at the end.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the voting spread here. He did get 2 9s and a 10. That 2 is dragging.
And a 2.
That yeah. I think that like realistically the average is probably closer to an 8. We got exactly the same number of 6s or we got the same number of 7s and 8s, but realistically, like that 2, I don't know if that's super troll. I feel like if you're trolling, you'd put a 1. So you could argue that 2 should hold similar weight to the 10, and then you just have 2 6s, 2 9s, and then 6 7s and 6 8s. So maybe it does land squarely at 7.5 realistically, if they're all
pretty
being
much
honest. But
this is the only team that's done any trades in this division since the screenshots were taken for
maybe that's why the
poll. Yeah. So for example, that's right. So none of them are live right now, but we can talk about
they're not on here.
Yeah, they're not on that. Like the team that you see on the screen is what people voted on. And it'll be updated on Monday when week 3 starts. But we can talk about whether we think like how the team might have gotten better or worse from there. Because I have some hiccups. I actually think the team was very strong even before the trades. Something that we see, I mean, we've seen Aloe Ursa like from time immemorable. I think it's just a really strong like pivot into bulky breaker core that appreciates the wish support. Um, you've got a lot of pivots. I mean, Sneasler, Latios, Aloe, Rotom all pivot really nicely. You're not worried too much about fire coverage for Pharaoh because like half your team resists it. Well, I say half, but you have 3 like very strong switches for it.
Yeah.
Mega Guard, I think, is actually
I mean, it's like
pretty
half of a
interesting.
team that you would bring.
Yeah. Mega Guard is actually pretty interesting because something that we see to abuse Alomomola is sub on like bulky Pokemon in front of
That's true.
the
Yeah,
flip
and you
turn.
have your
They'll
hyper
tech the
voice.
exactly. You see where I'm going. You tech the
Yeah.
Aloe or you tech the sub to live Aloe's like uninvested flip turn. But then Mega Gardevoir just comes in and can hyper through the sub.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really cool tech for anything between like 50 and like 99 speed. I think Guard is really, really nice for that.
Actually, for some reason, I
Um,
thought it was slower than 100 base speed.
yeah, 100 is good. Like, it's not as good as it used to be,
Yeah,
but
but
for
it's still the
how
same as
powerful
like
it
any
is,
of the mythicals that are
yeah,
hundreds.
for how powerful it actually is and how hard it hits, it's actually pretty nice. And I'm actually a big Terra Goltrace believer as well. I just wish the second captain was something better than Oricorio, the
Yeah,
worst of the 4
you're only
Oricorios.
using 15 points.
Yeah. Now, it's hard to do that when the rest of your 8 Mons are
Very
actually
expensive.
like A tier and above Mons.
Yeah.
Like, when the worst Mon on the
Honestly,
team is
maybe it's
Rotom
just a
Heat,
sacrifice you make.
that's saying something. Yeah, I agree. There's a sacrifice you make. Maybe there was a 14 pointer that you could have gotten and just downgraded Oricorio to a 1 pointer. Yeah, Azzy, I'm getting there. Yeah, Goldtrace is a beast. I agree. Maybe there is a 14 pointer that could pair with a 1 pointer instead of Oricorio. Because let's be
Just
real,
don't
Oricorio
trade
is
the Mega
not really
Gardevoir. I feel like
coming.
that's like the glue on this team.
Yeah. But like I was saying, when like Rotom Heat is the worst mon on the team, outside of your like shitter secondary captain, I think it speaks volumes because this I think is a really strong team. I gave this a 9 out of 10 personally. I think it's a lot better than the ratings give it credit for. What do you think about that?
I think it's fair. And honestly, like we were talking about Oricorio, like it is the worst of them. But also, like anytime that I see a Terra Captain that is playable with setup, which it does get set up, I just think it's like it's not a real threat, but it's still something where it's like, well, I better not fucking lose to this thing. I need to throw
You're
something on
right.
there, like you know.
The
But
problem is like Terra Oricorio is also just
oh,
a
it loses
flying
its
type
Revelation
setup.
Dance,
No, Revelation
right?
Dance because becomes the type of whatever your Terra type is. So it
Right. I
basically
should
just
say
has
it
Terra
loses its
Blast.
stab, like it loses the other stab.
It wouldn't be like Psychic type anymore. It would
Yeah.
be just single stab into whatever Terra type you went
Right.
into. If you went Terra Psychic, it would double up. But otherwise it
Yeah,
turns
but
into
it's like
whatever,
it's just not
which is
better
nice.
than running like any
Yeah.
other special psychic
The
move.
thing is, any matchup where Terra Oricorio is good, Terra Goltrace is usually just gonna be better.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you just have a worse version of your already in here.
Yeah, you're not opening any new doors.
Exactly. Like maybe the speed boost is better on a Quiver Dance than like
Yeah.
a Nasty Plot or an Agility. Hard to say. Regardless, the trade that is happening that's already confirmed is we're trading Mega Gardevoir and
What?
Oricorio.
What?
Crazy. For
What?
Hatterene and Terra Sableye.
Regular. Oh
Now,
yeah, regular.
I do think there's
Hmm.
merit in people who aren't Mega Gardevoir believers. I do think it has value, but I can
Hmm.
understand wanting a more defensive option as a
No
fairy
Mega
type
on
than
the
Gardevoir.
team.
No, Mega's fine. Don't get baited by Megas.
No
Um,
Mega on the team. Draft a Mega
I
camera.
think I think Hatterene's Healing Wish is going to be pretty nice for Ursaluna, and even letting Sneasler like do a thing more than once. It'll pretty much specifically be for Ursa.
Yeah.
Usually I think the magic bounce is gonna be to try and hide that Rotom is the only defogger.
Oh.
And I also am noticing that
Wait, is
Pharaoh is
Latios
also the
not get
only
it?
hazard setter. Oh, sorry, I forgot Latios has it. And also Sneasler has spikes technically.
So you
But
just
for the
lied.
most part,
You
like
just
Pharaoh
lied
and
on
Rotom
stream.
are doing all of your hazard control. I lied.
You lied
And
to
you
the
know what? I'm
audience.
probably gonna do it again. Yep. I don't know if the team gets better necessarily with Hatterene Sableye, but something that I like that again, when we see like Allo teams, you want a way to not just lose to sub, and I think that Sableye is a good way to not always lose to sub because you can encore, like Prankster encore after they sub on your flip turn.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I think Sableye is
so
good.
yeah, I think Sableye is good too. So it kind of like it replaces that niche that Gardevoir held and makes it a little bit more reliable to be abused by like Terra Dark or even just other dark types, but it does hit mons that are faster than 100 that Gardevoir was not able to do that to. And yeah, Hatterene just having a magic bounce to help with the defog weakness.
Sableye also gives you like a spin blocker
Pretty
too,
good.
which is nice.
Yeah, spin blocker. I do think it'll be hard for this team to bring Sableye though. If I'm
Yeah, I was thinking about it's like, oh, well, you could do
this
the
is a team
encore
full of very good
on
mons.
the substitute from Aloe, but then I'm thinking like, when is Sableye even in the game to do that?
I think overall it's kind of a side grade. I still think the team is really good, and I'd still give it like a 9 out of 10, even after the guard for Hatterene and picking up Sableye. Sableye is really never going to Terra, but Terra Gold Trace is just good enough that you don't really need it to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's more just like, hey, you have the points to make it a Terra Captain, but you probably won't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Any
All
other
right, well,
thoughts?
let's go to our my thought is let's go to our last team in All Star.
Yep, that's a good thought.
Yeah. Another like pretty spread vote. This one's 7.22 for Baby Dragonsword here. Let me update our name. Too freaking long, man. It's too long.
You guys and you're having a name that's more than 6 characters, SMH.
Yeah. Let me flip the actual team. Yeah, okay.
Right. I have a very differing opinion on this team than
from everyone else.
The community rating. The community rated this team as 7.22.
Well, you might not have that differing of an opinion though, just looking at where a lot of the votes are.
You're right. So, and you know what? I might just be jaded because I filled this out right before stream, and I'll be honest, I'm just sick and tired of hearing Zard for the last almost 2 weeks talk about the trades that he's trying to do to his team. It's really wearing me out, and I can't do much more. He's also, I talked with him about it also in the Stunfisk server about like trades for his team, and if I feel like everywhere I look, all I see is you.
Did he make the trades yet?
He hasn't even made the trades, and I'm getting really sick of like waiting
charging
around
him
like
for the consultation.
Seeing him flip flop between things. There's good things about this team. So to be clear, I voted it kind of poorly. I gave it a 5.
You bastard.
And I do still kind of think that there's a lot of frauds. There's a lot of frauds on this team, I'll be honest.
There's also a frog.
True.
2 frogs, maybe, if you count Swamp.
True.
Kind of. He's not a frog.
Terra Lapras is like pretty mid. Terra Hoopa is, I think,
pretty mid when you don't need a water type.
Yeah. It's like, if you're gonna get Hoopa, at least I think get something else that works with it, I think. Looks like Manual Rain. I guess so. Thundurus likes the Thunder and Weather Ball. Gren like boosting water. It's not Mega Pert, it's just base Pert. Like Talonflame can have Gale Wings Hurricanes, which is pretty cool.
Talonflame, holy, they got buffed.
Yeah. I mean, it basically has it with Tailwind.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
And Scizor likes Fire being
better
weaker.
because it gets priority Brave Bird once.
True. I do think that Scizor Swampert is a very good core. And I think you round your team out with good offense with like Gren Thundy.
Yeah.
Everything else is really just a bunch of like mid-tier meh mons. If you're a Nihilego believer, it's one less meh. But like, and I'm a Comfey
Something tells
believer,
me
by the
you're
way.
not.
No, I'm. I mean, it has its uses, and I've seen enough
We'll take
Nihilego
it.
sweeps to like understand it. And it's
Yeah.
kind of just a meteor beam merchant. I
I
think
just think it sucks that it's stuck in Gen 7, so it doesn't get any new moves.
it's true. I'm a Comfey believer, like I was saying, and I'll still admit that like it's kind of a middling fairy type. Serena is like a very mid grass type with rapid spin. It's fine. Talonflame is a very mid flying type, fire type, remover, flame body, merchant, kind of fake speed. Swampert lacks the like sustainability that a lot of other have.
Yeah, it just doesn't have recovery.
It's just a bunch of like stuff, and then you've got Gren and Thundy that
I feel
are
like this team would like to
kind of in
have
the
like a
same spot.
wish passer or something, or like a healing wish on it.
Yeah, potentially. I think Swampert would really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just like nothing on
And but
here has recovery except for Scizor and Talonflame, I guess.
yeah, it's kind of well, in Talonflame and Comfey and Serena.
What's Serena's?
But I think it'll be hard
Just
to
synthesis?
like get the core. Yeah, synthesis. I think it'll be hard to get the core like identity of the team. And actually, I kind of struggle to see what the identity is. I think it's hard to bring more than two between Gren, Thundy, Nihilego, and Talonflame because they're all like fast Frailmons, and you can invest defensively on Talonflame. It doesn't help too much.
Yeah. I feel like Talonflame has adapted to just being like HP speed, if anything.
Yeah, the physical offense seems pretty low. Like I guess Terra
Hurt,
Hoopa
can
just I don't know.
spam
That's the thing.
Quake.
Terra Hoopa just requires it's required to pull so much weight offensively, at least physically on this team.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Scizor is very strong physically, even if it's
Yeah,
not
of course, but that's
invested.
kind of
Greninja
like
gets
that's it.
battle bond if it wants to run a physical set. I think there's some flexibility for physical damage here if you don't want Hoopa to be physical in a particular matchup.
Like you can go out of your way to make it so that you have physical attackers. Yeah, I think Scizor obviously is like the main one. The rest, I don't know. I'm not convinced on Serena's offense. I'm not convinced on Talonflame or
And it's
Swampert's
120
offense.
attack. It gets triple axle now too. I actually,
Yeah, it's
I
a
think,
grass attacker though, man.
but I think AV Serena's not actually that bad, just for like poking holes
No,
in
you're
things.
right. Or like Boot Serena, like completely fine. But
Yeah,
that's the thing is it'll just be like your bulky spinner,
yeah.
and
When I also think that like
being mono grass with as an offensive mon is kind of mid.
I think that if you're also looking at like what are people gonna like build against this team, like you probably lean more for the special aspect of it, like maybe bring a lot of like AVs and stuff. Not a lot, but you know, like you might face a lot of AVs across the games. Um, it opens up for like non-invested pert to just kind of like throw out an earthquake, and it's just strong, and it's just like might do more damage than somebody who's really like ready for just to be able to consistently take that.
It
When you're
might.
not really like
I think usually a
fearing.
grass type or a flying type just comes in.
Yeah, but think like the grass poisons that just don't want to take it.
Yeah, like it's fine. But I mean, like
I'm not
the
saying it's
water
amazing. I'm
resist
saying that's
is
at least like a like it's just having stab quake on 100 base attack or 110 base attack, even when you're not invested in it, is still just like it's good just passive offense to have, you know.
yeah. I'm just looking at like certain type matchups though, and like the water resist is Serena, and the
Yeah.
only ice resist is Scizor, and the dark resist is
I
Comfey, and
maybe
it's
overdid it.
like
He maybe overdid it on like the well, I need my protection against fire for Scizor. Here's my rock type and my
yeah.
Talonflame.
Well, that's the
Oh,
thing, yeah,
and then
and
also overdoing the grass for pert with the fire flying and the grass steal. You know, like
Yeah, well, it feels like a type chart team that like doesn't even really do the type chart that well,
yeah. It was like how many
right?
times
Like
can
I
you
don't
even
think
swap some of
the
these mods in, like before they need
yeah,
to like
exactly.
heal or like not be able
I
to do
don't
anything?
think I don't think the stats do this team any favor. Like the types are probably fine. Like if all of these mons had better stats, the type chart would go crazy. But they don't have better stats. I think you're going to struggle to break things without Hoopa. Pretty much is my thought. I guess like plot Fundy is going to be your best friend here, but that can only take you so far.
Yeah.
Um, which way would you err towards more closely? Towards my 5 out of 10 or towards the community's 7.2?
I lean more towards the community on this just because I like the offensive pieces. I think it's a game,
Mm,
a team that you can like definitely customize on offense for pretty much any situation that you need. I agree that like
yeah,
it
that's
has
fair.
defensive weaknesses, but I also think that this is kind of like a skill team, like especially among like Talonflame, where it's like he's frail, but he's also like you can't like if you're good and you know what you're reading and you know you're coming at the right time, you're building a smart team and not being greedy, like I think it makes Mons like the Mud Boys without recovery and like Talonflame, like it makes them a lot better defensively, and I think that that is how he's going to be able to like open up the offense and take
Yeah,
advantage of that. And because we just like we know he's a
yeah,
good
that's fair.
player, like and I think that that'll be fine. And also I like Greninja and I like
Mm,
Talonflame, so it's got my bias.
true. Yeah, that's fair. I think maybe a couple things I might have just been expecting more from our reigning All-Star champion. Which I forgot to mention, by the way, Zard is our season 6 champion, I
By the
believe,
way,
right? That's right, right? Yeah.
don't lie.
So maybe I
You
was
already lied to
expecting
the
more,
chat
but
once,
to me, it just feels like it feels like he just has to outplay his opponent.
which is
Like
fine
some
if
teams,
he's
I
a good
think
player.
are prepped, yeah, which it will be completely fine. Um, I think some teams make it easy, like Camel's team. It makes it pretty easy to just always have the tools you need.
Yeah.
I feel like this team, you got to go pretty far out of your way to make sure that you're not missing any. Like you didn't forget your drill at home, you know? Not your literal Excadrill, but like,
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the end of
yeah.
All Star. What are you thinking? Are we gonna get the hustle today?
Oh man, I
Keep
mean, how long have we been going? We started at 7:30. It's
the
been
stream
three
has been
hours.
3
Do we have
hours.
another 3 hours in us? I don't think we
Well, I
do,
don't think it'd
man.
be 3 hours, but I also think that it would be late. um,
Listen, I was
well,
looking to take a break here for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, anyways. But
I
I
think I
agree.
think
We've
we
kind
should
of been
probably
yapping
just
for a while.
yeah. We'll
Yeah,
start fresh whenever we start, whether that's tomorrow, which I think we were planning at least a little bit tomorrow, like even if it's just hustle and then finish Sunday or even into Monday or whatever.
yeah.
Um,
And you know what? That helps me a lot because I was already kind of struggling to find time tomorrow for a 2 division stream, anyways. So
yeah,
cutting tomorrow down to one, I
to
think, would be
break
pretty.
it just to hustle and then keep it. And I think, I mean, we always say like, oh, surely the next one will be so much faster because we're so good
Surely.
at it now. We're not gonna keep talking. The upside
Look,
is
we're
that
putting ourselves on rails. Like,
yeah, the factual part is that we don't have to do the same intro again. We don't have to do the
true, we did
4 month
yap for
reintroduce ourselves to everyone.
yeah.
Get a little like Wigglytuff rant in there.
Mhm.
Um,
True, we
we had
won't have
all we
to
had all that
reintroduce
stuff.
ourselves until we bring on our new mods who we have to reintroduce.
That's if they show up.
Yeah. But yeah, we did yap for like 30 minutes at the beginning, so
Yeah. Well, and to be at least those guys are active in the chat. I feel like I have to introduce myself. I'm not even talking to people right now, and then I show up
yeah.
like once a month and say something, but, or somebody tags me and says like, "Hey, here's an APOM card." Like sick,
Yeah.
and I actually do like that
Yeah,
because
very true.
I don't like I don't always follow that kind of stuff, and then I'll see like, oh, that's neat. There's a new
Mhm.
APOM or a new Ambipom card that I wouldn't have known
Yeah,
about
very
otherwise.
cool. Do you think
Actually,
Apom's
my
gonna get a baby form? That'd be pretty cute.
no, that would they would ruin the line. They wouldn't get the potential
What if its tail is just a thumb
for
instead of a hand?
that would be funny. Uh, um, My friend made a for our Secret Santa, which I just did because I had to drive home. Originally, we were going to do it the day after Christmas, but I had to drive home because it was going to start snowing, and like apparently it like got pushed up. It was like, oh well, I can't wait until after we do this. So I drove back like the night before, and it wasn't until like last weekend when half of my friends that I was going to be meeting with in our hometown like also live here now. So like we were going to meet up anyway at some point, and so we met up and did our swap. And my friend did it was like a thrift store like denim jacket, but he painted like an APOM on the back, and it's based on the art from one of the new cards that somebody tagged me in on here, and it's funny because I recognize like, oh, is that like I've seen that art before? I don't know what it's from. I thought it was like the Trozy art, but which it's similar to. But he's like, no, it's from a card. It's like I remember seeing that card now. So, and that's the one I made my profile picture in the NBA chat.
Oh, neat. Cool.
So, but yeah.
Okay, well, TLDR of the stream. We
Oh no,
had.
the stream heard that. They heard
Oh no.
the Discord stream close.
We had Camel Convention at very undisputed
Yeah, he was
number
definitely the
one,
highest.
8.61.
Was
The next
Skyhop
closest was
second?
almost an entire grade point below. Skyhop's at 7.83.
Okay.
So
That's
at
the only other person with
approximately
multiple
0.8.
tens.
Yeah, that's right. He had two tens. 0.8 below it as the second closest. So.
Yeah.
Definitely a big gap between like clear S tier Camel and A tier like Skyhops Gensuzu kind of deal. I think we're some of the best teams. Bunhara's team was rated highly. What else did we have that was good here? Overmat's, Jortson's, Gensuzu's was close also with a 7.6.
Yeah, we started strong with Gensuzu.
Yeah, started very well. But honestly, I don't think there was really bad teams. Oh, sorry, Aziz and Zar rated pretty well too.
Yeah.
Like despite the grievances that I had with Zar's team, I might just be rating him too
What was the
harshly.
lowest?
From bias.
What
But
was the lowest,
yeah,
like,
none of these
average?
teams are like the lowest average was
I think
maybe Dicey
Vios,
Rice.
maybe? Vios was 6.22. Dicey was 6.28.
Yeah, so Vios is the lowest at 6.22.
But also,
and like
I don't know how
Skyhots
many of
was
those
saying,
were
the
real
community
votes.
ratings are very harsh, I think.
Yeah.
And it is an
well, also like
average,
all it takes is
so
one person like memeing and giving them a 1 too that
exactly,
brings
yeah.
the average
It's
down.
an average, not a median, so it does get affected by
Yeah.
like kind of random things like that. But
Luckily, we're looking at
yeah,
all
I
of them,
mean,
so we can deduce whenever one of them looks like it
yeah.
could just be a troll.
And we've always said in All Star, like that people know how to draft, and also people know how to battle. So even if a team isn't conventionally like what agreed upon to be good by the community, the person who drafts it 9 out of 10 times knows how to use it, right? Like that's what Zap is known for, and I think Vios is like kind of copying that same. I think he has a very similar style to Zap, where he might have a different like perspective on why his team is good because he'll use it in a certain way that like people didn't expect, right? So we'll see. I trust that everybody's gonna like use their teams effectively, and we'll be back at some point tomorrow to see if these ratings hold up into the hustle division.
We'll see. And we'll let you know approximately 45 minutes ahead of the stream. Whenever you're doing it.
And when you say approximately, you mean exactly.
Exactly sharp. Just
Exactly squiggly line 45 minutes.
Yep. Yep. All
Okay,
right.
everybody.
We'll
Thank
see
you
you
for
then.
joining. Who
Don't
we
miss
still
it.
have around? Yeah, don't miss it. We had Golden Mazda. You were around for. Thanks
We
for
had a lot of people
hanging. I know
here
that
around
Azzy
the
was
whole time.
around. Brad Boy was around. Fennec was around.
Fennec was here at the start.
Banhara.
Yeah, Fennec was still chatting later. Fennec seems
Tatanga was
like
also
a
here.
tabbed
I don't
out
remember
gamer,
who
maybe tabbing
Tatanga
back
is.
in to say something every now and then, you know.
Oh, Overmat was here.
Was he? I didn't see him.
Yep, he said something while we were
Was it
reviewing
his
his
team?
team. Yeah, all the lurkers came out when we were talking about charge, so that's when Corey said something,
That's
Jortson
true.
said something.
Corey was here.
Yeah.
Who else?
Oh yeah, Skyhop's around. Thank you.
Skyhops.
Sprite Cranberry.
Sprite Cranberry.
NBA Poké
Let's see.
Draft.
Tatanga.
I don't remember who Tatanga is, but I do remember seeing them around.
I recognize the name, yeah. I mean, aside
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Super Mario Land. But
Yeah.
oh, I see Matt.
Okay,
He
everybody.
just said unfort. That's all Matt's.
Yeah.
The only comment.
Okay, guys, we'll be back
All right.
around the same time probably tomorrow.
All right.
Good night. Thanks for joining. Bye.